Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I am your host, David Strege, and here in the room with me, I have once again actor and director Joel D. Wynkoop. Thank you for coming back again.
Wow, thank you, Dave.
If anything, I am a completist, and I just enjoy talking with you. So,
thanks, man. It's been fun.
So last time we ended off at a film that you were in called Gone. I believe it was Girls Gone Dead.
Oh, Girls Gone Dead, yeah.
So after that, you went into a production called Mr. Engagement. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was fun. That was for Joe Davison and Rod Grant here in the Tampa St. Pete area. Joe called me up on the phone and he said, Joel, I want you in this movie as the boss, Rod Grant's boss. And basically that was it. He just said, I want you to play the boss. I said, cool. I think I only worked 2, maybe 3 days on that, but I was just a boss behind the desk. I do remember doing it really, really hard ass. Like, what are you doing in here? What are you doing in my office? And Joe, directing it, he says, why are you being so mad? And I go, I don't know. I just usually do stuff in a. He goes, no. He goes, you're happy. You're like a happy boss, and you're happy with the guy coming in disturbing you. You're very happy. And I went, oh, well, I can do that. So when the kid come in, I changed it from, what do you want? What are you doing in here? So, hey, how you doing, buddy? How's it going? Yeah, thanks for breaking into my office and breaking in my routine today. It's great. I love it. I love you, and I love my job. So, yeah, that was fun. And that came out, I guess you got it there whenever that came out. I remember
2012.
12, yeah, played in the theater. And so it was kind of neat to see. I was just doing a regular guy. I mean, I'm just the boss. And then at one point he comes to me and I run with him into another scene. And I don't know. It was more of like a romantic comedy, more for Rod Grant, because he really got to express himself as a comedic actor, which I told him I really enjoyed it. I thought his stuff was great. And Joe Davison was really funny in it. I mean, the whole cast was great. It was a lot of fun to do it. And it was a change for me to do something, different, where I'm not, using martial arts or punching somebody out or screaming at him like a psycho and threatening to kill him with a knife. It was just this regular kind of guy, regular kind of role, doing just a guy running a big corporate business. So yeah, it was still a lot of fun. I like everything I do. I enjoy it, whether it's killing or being a superhero or a martial artist or a monster or a regular Joe down the kind. This was kind of like unexpected, because in that I played the owner of a hardware store.
Okay.
And I think I told you that last time with I was asking the director, I go, so I'm not killing anybody or punching anybody out or martial arts or any superheroes or any science fiction. And he's like, no, you're just a regular guy trying to get his kid to get a job. And I went, okay, let's do it. It's fun to do those parts, between all the other psycho stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So after that, you ended up doing a series of like short films kind of in a row. Taste Me, Vomit Soup, Dark Comedy. Why don't you tell me about those?
So some of those, like I think Vomit Soup was the first one. In fact, John Miller and Chris Woods, they were partners in the Sleaze Box then. And John Miller wanted me to play this guy. I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in a rundown apartment, and I just remember, oh yeah, that's the one at the sock. There's like a killer sock in it, I think. No, I think that's NCX. I forget what this one is. This is just a crazy guy in his apartment.
You play a husband.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember. But I remember there was a pot in his in his fridge and it had like some soup at the bottom or something in it. And I remember just pulling it out and just improvising it, going, "Oh, what am I supposed to eat? This vomit soup?" And John right then goes, "Dude, when you said that, that's the name of the movie. It's going to be called Vomit Soup." So it was fun to do that because it was a psycho guy. And I remember pulling the knife out. I guess I was going to kill my wife or something. But I pull the knife out and I go, "Ah," and I start licking the knife. And it's just where I got to play, the real psycho guy.
Mhm.
And so that was fun. It just, and John Miller, he, at the time, I guess, he really liked me, and he was like, "Man, I really want you to be in this short that him and Chris were doing." So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I did, I don't know if they were around that time, but I had done White Lie and I think Hennessy X. And what were the other ones? A couple more.
Let's see. You did Taste Me, Dark Comedy, Waiting Room, Three Laws.
That's right. 3 Laws was for Marcus Kempton. He was a friend of mine. We were just getting to know each other then, I think. But he knew about me, and he basically just got a hold of me by phone. I think how our phone numbers got out there, because I think that was before Facebook, I think. And he wanted me to be in the short 3 Laws, which is Isaac Asimov's story, I think, but I'm not positive. And I played the boxer in that, which was neat because, I used to box. I used to kickbox back in the 80s, and it was fun to actually get back in the ring. And I remember the guy I was fighting with, that was going to be the other boxer. I don't know if he had any experience, but when I got into the ring, I really got into throwing my kicks and punches. And I remember him telling the director, is Joel going to have like a real flashback to a real fight and kick the shit out of me? And I heard him, and I told him, I go, "Nah, man." I said, I'm getting into the role the way I would if I was this boxer. That's what I would do. And when I had matches in the 80s, my instructor told me, he goes, "Get out there, kick your feet up in the air, punch, show them what you learned so they know who they're going to fight." And so in 3 Laws, that's the same thing I did. Of course, I'm killed because he's a robot, and I'm just, this is supposed to be this great boxer. And he kills me in the end because he's an android or a robot or whatever. Okay. That's the whole principle behind 3 Laws. And the other ones were all different shorts I did. Taste Me was by Chris Woods. And that was...
And I believe that originally became Death Escort Service 3, correct?
Yeah, it was turned from a short into a full feature. So I played the same character in both of them. And the first one, I'm the detective. The second one, I'm the detective or the police captain. And but when we did that, it was just a short. And then it was many years later, and Chris said, "I'm going to make that into a feature." And that was Death Escort Service 3, Taste Me. So that was all about. And then, there were some other shorts in there. And I can't remember what you said.
SOL.
That was by Ken Anthony. I did that for Ken, which was a God, I'm trying to remember what I did in that.
Detective Bruce Holmes.
Oh, that's right. I was a detective, and I think that's all I did in that. I came to the house and found the dead body and was trying to investigate this situation, and then just get back to police headquarters. I think that's all I did in that. I mean, it was a short. But it was funny because the actor I was working with, I always like to do some kind of improv when we're shooting. So the lines were just us coming up to this dead person. It was a rotted corpse. And we just look at it and move on. But I thought it would be funny. So the other actor I'm with, I go, but I'm talking to him like the character would. And I go, "Why don't you get some prints off that body?" And then the actor's listening to me like, "Oh, Joel told me to do that, so I'll do it." So he reaches out to touch the body. And I go, "What are you, some kind of moron? Don't touch that thing. It's deceased. You'll catch a disease." And so that was, to be funny, to put something in there for my character. And they left it in, which was great. But that was for Ken Anthony II. And that was a lot of fun too. I mean, those days, a lot of people were shooting stuff, and I was just getting phone calls all the time. "Hey, do you want to do this detective? Do you want to do this high school teacher? Do you want to do this professor? Do you want to do this plumber?" Which in Hennessy X, I played some plumber that was just full of himself. He thought he was the greatest plumber in the world. He's got the snake, and he tells you how he's going to snake out the toilet and everything. And that's like his complete life. But he finds a vampire and he has to kill. And even in that, I put in a line when I tell the vampire, I open up his coffin and I take the stake and the hammer and I go, I say something like, how do you want your steak? Medium or rare? And then I jam the steak into him. So yeah, those were all fun shorts to do.
Okay. And then you did 5 Shades of Jonathan.
Oh yeah, that was for, man, I can't remember his last name, but I've worked with him. Oh wait, I worked with him on some of the Peace, Love, Unity, Revenge shorts. You'll probably find him in the IMDb. I think his name is Jonathan Burgess. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. But that was shot for him. But it also was
Nolan Ray.
Yeah, Nolan Ray. Well, he shot it. I think I shot my scenes at his house in the pool and in the house, and it was cool because I got to do all these different characters in there, but not really going anywhere. It was just at the table. It was for some contest. You know how they do those little short contests.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I did it for him, and that was a lot of same thing. A lot of fun. There was one scene when I got to be in the swimming pool. I think I come out of the water with his wife, or she's dead, or I'm dead, or something. It's so long ago. But yeah, those are all just, and the same thing. The guy called me up on the phone. He goes, "Hey Joel, you want to do this? I'm doing a short, and it's for this contest. Do you want to be the guy? We'd like to have you in it." And I go, "Yeah, okay, that'd be cool." And so yeah, they're all fun to do.
Okay. So ultimately, you were part of Joe Vampire, which was another Sleazebox film, correct?
Yeah, that started out again as a wait, was that I think yeah. I think Sean told me it started out as a short, and then they just added scenes and built it into a full feature. But then there was some problem between Sean and another guy that had the camera that shot the stuff, and then Mike from Dawn of the Dead that played the Hare Krishna zombie. They got into some big argument because Mike wanted them to use their music, and they were going to, and they said, "Well, use it." And then he said, "I don't like that music you're using. Forget it." So they said, "Okay, forget it." And then they got other music, and then he came back and he goes, "Wait, what about mine?" And I guess they said, "We took yours, but you didn't want us to use it. You told us to get it somewhere else." So they did. But then I guess he got mad and said, "Well, I didn't mean it. I really want you to use it." And they're like, "Dude, we can't keep going back and forth." I don't know. I mean, I don't know the whole thing. This is
yeah. The last time I heard about or talked to that director, he said that he was like recutting it or something like that.
Yeah, it was Mike Nietzsche. That's who it was. Yeah. But yeah, he said I guess it was like he was upset. So, but Sean never had a problem. He said, "Look, you do what you and Mike do what you want with it." Mike Nietzsche and Mike Christopher. He goes, and then here's my version. I'm going to release this. And I guess they hated that. And he said they were going to do their own release. But how long ago was that?
Yeah, right.
I still haven't seen a re-release of Joe Vampire by Mike Nietzsche. So I don't know if they, and Mike Christopher, if they, and a lot of people say that, like, I'm going to redo this, or I'm doing this, and it never comes to be. I see people all the time say they're going to make a movie, and they never do. They never make the movie. They just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about making a movie. My movie's going to be great, and I'll spend $10 million on it, and I'm getting this camera and this camera and this camera, and I'm going to have it distributed, and Warner Brothers is knocking on my door all the time. They want my movie. They want it. And they talk and talk and talk and talk for 50 years about it, and they still don't do nothing. I'd rather have done my 182 things that I've been in than have done nothing at all, or a little extra work in Hollywood movies where I'm on the screen for 6.5 seconds. I would have rather have done all my little, if you want to call them rinky-dink, cheesy movies, whatever. I would have rather have done that than, been in Independence Day. Oh, that's me getting killed for a quarter of a second on camera. I don't care. I want to do something more than that. So Joe Vampire came out as the movie, and and that's when all the wars started. And then the one guy was telling me, he was like, well, you should be mad too, because they cut out your scene at the beginning of the movie. And I go, man, I don't care that much, man. Why are you getting so upset over this little movie that's really doing nothing? None of these independent movies do nothing. Nothing. They're not changing the world. They're not Independence Day. You know, I just do mine. I don't care what you think about mine. I'm just having fun doing them. If you like them, awesome. If you don't like them, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm just having a good time doing them. I'm not trying to be Spike Lee and change the world and everything. I just want to make a dumb little movie. So, when the guy was telling me that, he was trying to get me mad at Sean Donahue, and I go, dude, I don't care. That, you know what? When an actor does something, it's not the actor that says, oh, I didn't like the way you recut that movie, put it back. It's in the hands of the director and the producers to, if they want to make the changes. So, yeah, I'm like, I would have liked to seen that opening, that because I was the opening of the short with all the, the graphics coming up, and I'm driving around town and I'm having conversations with myself because that was fun. I was like, man, I'm looking at girls that are supposed to be hookers. Wow, I'm gonna bang her when I get that money from that guy. I'll come back, pick that hooker up, and bang her. And we did all these shots in Ybor, which were really cool. Well, when they cut the movie together, boom, that all went in the garbage, and I got, that got all cut out. I'm still there as the landlord trying to get money from Mike Christopher, but they cut out that beginning. But that's why people get so upset about things. That's it's just like the song Bobby Brown says, that's my prerogative. That's their prerogative. If they want to cut something out, you shouldn't be like, oh, you assholes, why did you cut me out of the movie? That's not my business. I'm just there to act. If a big time actor, Will Smith, gets cut out of a scene, well, maybe Will Smith, because he's fucking Will Smith, or Tom Cruise, they might go and go, hey, motherfucker, put me back in there. But, at this level, you work, and I've had to take some of my movies, and the actor's like, where's my scene? I go, dude, it doesn't fit. It didn't work. I couldn't use it, and Chris Leto said it to me the best. He said he had Gus Perez was in one of his movies in Rough Cut. I think it was Rough Cut. He went to Chris. He goes, hey, you cut my scene out of the movie. What happened? And Chris Leto just told him, he goes, look, Gus, it's nothing personal. It's nothing against you. It just didn't work in the movie, so I cut it out. There's nothing personal. So I when the guy was saying, oh, you should be upset with them, they cut your scene up. I don't care. It would have been cool to see it there, but I also understand it's now in the hands of the person or you signed a release with. In the case of Slasher Weekend, when I delivered that to Chris Woods, it was 2 hours long, but I signed a release, and now Chris becomes the owner. Well, we're split owners, but he released his version of my movie, Slasher Weekend, 2 hours. He cut it all up, and it's 80 minutes. So that's his prerogative. That's what he wants to sell. But I still sell my 2 hour version of Slasher Weekend.
I'll have to pick that up from you.
Yeah, there's always things you can compromise. And Chris Woods has always been good to me. Sean Donahue, Ron Bonk has been super cool with me on when I purchase things for like he'll have 20 copies of Creep, and I'll go, Ron, I'll take 20 copies of Creep, 20 of Wicked Games, 20 Killing Sprees, 20 Truth or Dares, whatever. And then I work with Ron. But all the other distributors I've worked with too, they've always been, great to me. So there's a good balance of there where you can work with people instead of being pissed off at people and getting all, shitty attitudes and everybody thinking, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. We're all at the same friggin' level. Nobody's made it. There's nobody that's made it. There's the Blair Witch guys, the Open Water guys, the Paranormal Activity guys. They're none of us, So we need to freaking get along. That's why I try to work with everybody. If I'm not working with somebody, it's because I don't know them or they don't like me. Because I don't have a problem with anybody,
Totally understand. So after that, you got involved in a couple more short films called Metagod Is It Safe? And Captain Cannabis and the Cosmic Crusaders.
Captain Cannabis was funny because that was Nolan again, and I had the Joel Wynkoop show at his studio, and it's under Captain Cannabis. You'll see the creator's name. He was there one night, and he was putting voices down, and he has a comic book, and they're like the Avengers, except they're like smoking pot, and mostly I think they're just smoking pot. And, Captain Cannabis. And he said, I need a guy. And I don't think I did Captain Cannabis' voice. I think I did like 4 other voices. And then I said, I can do all the aliens if you want to. So it's on YouTube. You can find it, Captain Cannabis and or whatever it's called, Cosmic Avengers.
Okay.
But I play a lot of those voices, and I played one of the main superheroes, and then the alien voices and all the background voices. So I did a lot on that, and it's a little comic book. You open it up, and if you open up the YouTube, you can watch it unfold with my voice there. Mm-hmm. And that was just fun to do. I mean, there was no money involved. I said because he was like, I don't have any money to pay. I go, dude, I don't care. I said it'll be fun to do it. I did my show that night, went right into his studio, and then we did the comic book. So that was a lot of fun to do that.
Okay. And Is It Safe and Metagod?
Oh, Is It Safe and Metagod? Metagod was another guy, Aaron Bellamy, called me up. Same thing. We all got phone numbers. This is all before Facebook. And he called me up and he goes, Joel, and I think it was Greg Lassar too, which was the instructor at the Tampa Art Institute. Tampa Art Institute. There's another one here in Tampa, and he was the art director of both of them. But now he went on and has got his doctorate. So he's Dr. Greg Lassar. But so I knew him, and I knew Aaron Bellamy from working at the Tampa Institute, the art school. And he asked me, he goes, I'm doing this movie called Metagod. I got Jules Sierra in it. And I go, I know Jules. And he goes, I want you to play a cop. And I go, yeah, that'd be cool, man. And I think he paid me for that. I can't remember. I think he did just because I was coming, from my house. I was going to, do a night there as a police officer. I remember a sheriff car drove by to see what we were doing. And I just kind of went with it because he stopped, and it's all on camera. So I just said, yeah, we're just checking this. I decided something. And of course, I had to tell him we're filming, and then he left. But the camera was rolling, and I got in the movie or the short. So that was kind of cool for doing that for Aaron Metagod. And then the other one was the car crash one. What was it called? What was the other one called? What was the other one called, Dave? What it seems, or I think that's the one where I'm a car crash victim. I'm supposed to I do a scene in that where I'm just all bloody and I'm yelling about if I didn't buy the car from the sleazy car dealership, and if the guy had been watching where he was driving, he was drunk, and he wasn't looking at his movie and his DVD player in his car, he wouldn't have crashed into me head on. Is It Safe? And I did that for not Richard Cesare. It was for sometimes I've done so much, and then I think, who did I do that for? Well, the name's on there for the director. I did it for him. And
Aaron Bellamy?
Aaron Bellamy was Metagod, but the other one, Is It Safe?
Metagod.
Yeah. But the other one was for it should be on there too, for Is It Safe? Now I can't remember his name. I feel terrible. But anyway, yeah, they were both a lot of fun. And Is It Safe?
William Carney and Tony Stinyard.
Tony Stinnern, yeah. And a lot of makeup, and went through the process of my character back in the 70s buying a car.
So.
Yeah, and then getting in an accident, but it was a lot of fun to do. It was for their production group, and I don't know if they ever did anything with it. I just think it was a short. I don't know if they did it for some contest or they just did it because they did it. I don't know, but it was a lot of fun doing it. We were in a big studio, and we shot a couple different places in there, a place for the car office, and then where the car accidents were. So that was neat, fun to do.
Okay. And then after that, you were involved in a project called Assignment Witch's Talisman.
That was with Kelly Helen Thompson. She same thing.
Correct. Assignment Witch's Talisman.
Yeah, I think by then we're into like Facebook and stuff. But Kelly and I have been friends for years. And she just said to me one day, I think she called me or Facebooked me, and she goes, "Hey, Joel, I'm doing this movie called Witch's Talisman. Do you want to be in it?" And I said, "Yeah." So she had the opening for I think it was either a teacher or a principal. I think it was at a high school that just kind of comes in and yells at her for being, I don't know, like a, I don't know if you still got me or you're gone, but I'll keep talking. A high school student and not getting her work done, and my character just coming in and saying, "Hey, you got to do a better job." And so it's just a principal type role, because again, another one of those kind where you're like just a regular job, and not playing some wacko guy, just kind of playing a principal. So again, it was fun, and because she let me put my spin on it. It wasn't just like the principal coming in saying, hello, Judy, what's going on? I got to, make something with the character by saying, well, word is you're not doing your assignments as well as you should be. Something like that. And that was the extent of it. I think Talisman, I don't know if that was the one. I also did like a wizard, and we were there, and I was waiting for Kelly and the other actors.
You were John Nolan and a professor.
Yeah. So I think I was waiting for Kelly to get to the next stop, and it was taking a long time, and I was there waiting, and I go, I got to leave at 4. You're supposed to be here at 11. And so finally they got there, and I told her, I go, look, why don't we do this? Because I got to leave. I mean, I told you ahead of time I got to leave at 4. You got here 3 hours late or something. Why doesn't my character turn my powers over to Bob Glazier? And then Bob Glazier kind of became the side star of the assignment, which is Talisman, with Kelly Helen Thompson. So it was a cool way for Bob, because I said, look, Bob, you're going to get all the stuff I was supposed to do. I'm going to give it all to you. And so we do some mystical thing where I do that, and my powers come out of me and they go into Bob, and then I disappear and become part of Bob. And then I was able to go on and do what I had to do that day. And they, they kept shooting the movie. So that's how that happened. But again, another kind of experience with, working with somebody.
Okay. After that, you got involved with a project called Attorney at Law, or Attorney at Low. Actually.
That was
as yourself.
Yeah, that was I think what and I'm trying Richie Siggins was the director and writer, and I think they crossed over the Joel Wynkoop show on that, because you had one of the main stars, I forget her name. She comes from her scene because she hears me on my show talking about William Shatner. And then I think all of a sudden she comes onto the set of the Joel Wynkoop show, and she's like, "I hate William Shatner," or something like that. It's hard to remember. But anyway, she comes on, and I think me and her argue, and I think we fight on my desk. I'm not sure. But I think she beats me up and says I hate William Shatner and smashed his picture or something like that. And then she leaves. So my scene is just like a little cameo in Attorney at Low. But still fun working for Richie Siggins and we were at a little studio that had a huge green screen. And I had my set because that's where I did my television show, the Joel Wynkoop show. And
Okay.
the other part of the set, they had a Jeep in there with machine guns on it, and so a lot of fun. But yeah, you're right, playing myself. So that was fun to do. It was hot that day. I think the studio didn't have any air, and like everybody was dying in there.
So after that, you got involved in a short film called Doggo, correct?
Doggo was again for Greg Lasar, Dr.
Okay.
Greg Lasar, and same thing. He knew me from because I worked a lot for the Tampa Art Institute. I did a lot of work over there because they had my phone number and they knew I was a local actor, and they'd call me up and go, "Hey, can you come over here and work with the kids?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure," because I'd be there shooting, and the teachers and the instructors, they would be passing and they would see me in there and go, "Oh, Mr. Wynkoop, how you doing? Hey, we appreciate you coming by and working with the students." I go, "Yeah, anytime." So they would call me a lot to come in there and just work with the students and stuff. So Greg had a script called Doggo. He told me about it, and I was like, it sounds kind of different. And he goes, I really want you to do it. I really see you doing it. You're kind of doing like a Elvis character, and you ride up on a motorcycle. And I'm going, it's been a while since I've been on a motorcycle. And it'll be okay. I got a trainer there. I go, I don't need a trainer. I mean, just, give me the ropes again. I'll get it. I used to, ride a motorcycle back in Minnesota. So I knew how to ride motorcycles. And so then he got me this outfit and cowboy hat. I still have it. And I was playing this character named Johnny Doggo. Mm-hmm. And it's about a girl that's doing a television show on her cooking, and it's not doing good. And apparently Doggo's seen it, and he comes there, and she's like, "What do you want?" And he goes, I'm Chef Johnny Doggo, and I'm here to help you, sweetheart," or something like that. And then I kind of team up with her, teach her how to make this broth or whatever. And then I'm falling in love with her, and she's falling in love with me, and her ex-boyfriend is there, and he sees it. And then it goes into this weird fight, this green screen, 70s mishmash, kind of hippie type, throw it in your face kind of fight scene, and music. And but it's funny at the end. I think I tear his head off, and then I make like that kind of bizarre Incredible Hulk thing, and the camera goes in and out, very artsy. And it's a little 20-minute short, and I have it. If anybody wants it, I got that. And but it's fun. You put it in, watch it for what it is. Know that you're getting some kind of art. You're getting an art. I don't say film because everything's on video now. So you're getting like an art video. But yeah, it was fun, and it still has its. It's not like it's a martial arts movie or a sci-fi. It's more of an art film with all these devices that you use to make your short stand out and look a little different. But a lot of fun to do. It was like we shot a lot of it in a big green screen chamber. I shot a lot of stuff over there. I shot another one with I don't think it ever went anywhere, but shot the whole thing. And I was some guy that creates alternate realities with video games where they're working too well. But I shot that there too. But yeah, Doggo was a lot of fun. And I remember one of my heels on my boot came off, and I left the boots there at the studio. And at the end of the night, I couldn't find them. And Greg was like, "I'll find them for you. Don't worry." Because I still wanted them back, even though the heel came off. And I came back for the next shoot. He goes, "Something's in the bag for you." And I pulled them out. He had took them to a shoe guy and had the boots all redone for me with the heel back on and made it look really nice. So I thought that was cool of Greg to do for me. Plus, he paid me a lot. So that was nice, too.
Very cool.
Oh, and then I had the guy there that had the motorcycle. And he told me that he was because I thought you were going to crash it. And I go, "No, I know how to handle a cycle. I'm not going to get it up to 80 anymore, but I could take it around the parking lot, do 40, 50 with it." So I just kind of messed around with it, and then I would race into the scene, and then we just start the scene and put the bike on its stand, and we walk off into the next scene. So
Mhm.
It was nice working for Greg too. And then I did another one for Greg called Mr. Blue Sky,
Mhm.
and that was a lot of fun too. It was right after Doggo. He goes, "I want you to be my vacuum salesman in the
Mhm.
in the vacuum store," and I said, "Okay, yeah, that'll be cool." So that was great, and that was with some actor. He's done a lot of TV work, and I really didn't know. Greg was just telling me about it later, and then I saw him on television, and I go, "Oh, that was pretty cool to have worked with him." So
Mhm.
yeah, good, good times to Greg Lassar and the Art Institute. So a fun time on that.
Okay. After that, you got involved with writer Bill Black on John Gottschall's Angel Avengers Brimstone short film. Correct?
Yeah, that was yeah, Angel Avengers Brimstone, and the girls will kill me. I can't remember. Christina,
Heather Brinkley,
Heather Brinkley. Yeah,
Svetanka Vergilova,
yeah.
and Anthony Wayne.
And Anthony's been friends with me since way back to 2003, I think, when I first moved over here. I met him on a production called Dark Dimensions we worked on together, and we became
Okay.
fast friends on that. He's worked with me on my television show, The Other Side, and then he's been in several of my movies. And then
Mhm.
Heather, yeah, I went up there for Brimstone, and that was up in Orlando. And Bill and John had me come up for that, and they had Anthony. I think Anthony drove himself. So we all met up there in their hometown and
Okay.
shot that. I played a bad guy, and they're the good guys. They're the Angel Avengers, and my character was more like, the evil manifesting evil
Big
bad guy.
Joel Nakota.
Yeah, but he had all these powers he could use. So it's pretty cool doing that. And I fight them at the end, all three of them, and Heather's beating the crap out of me. And in the movie, she hits me, and my face goes this way, but when I turn back, I go, my grandmother hits harder than that. So as he punches me again, punches me and kicks me and used martial arts on me. But at the end, I forget. I blow up, but I come back together and I zoom out of the house, and I can't remember. Like, it's cool because I run like the Flash, so that was kind of neat. But
And
yeah,
you play him again in Metal Gypsy.
yeah, and then Metal Gypsy. Trying to remember if Metal Gypsy was first or Brimstone. But Metal Gypsy is with what's her name?
Let me look here real quick. That would be with Peter Emmer, Kuroyuki, and John Miller.
She is known as Metal Gypsy, but her real name is, now I can't remember it. Oh man. But she plays Metal Gypsy.
Jennifer Trias.
Jennifer Trist, yes. She's awesome. And she plays again the superhero, and I'm the villain. And we shot it at the Tampa Comic Convention, Tampa Comic Book and Toy Convention. And it's supposed to be I'm going through there and I buy this rare stone or something, and then I command these people to do my evil work, and then it heads outside. And John Miller's in it. He plays one of the guys that's taken over by the stone. And then Metal Gypsy shows up. She spins around, does the whole Wonder Woman thing, and turns into Metal Gypsy. And then her and I have a big showdown in that where I fight her. And then I bring a bad gypsy woman to life that fights a Metal Gypsy. And I think in the end we're defeated or something. And of course the good guys win, the bad guys lose. But yeah, I was reprising that same role as Big Joel Nakota, which was a slant on Joel for my name, but also Nakota from Lost Faith. So that's where they came up with that. And
Okay.
Bill Black, John was very cool. Bill and John split up their partnership, but John was pretty cool to me, and Bill was awesome to me, and still is today. I still talk to Bill. I haven't did really any conventions except for Tampa Bay Screams because of the whole dang COVID thing. So I've been turning down like Daytona Comic Con, and there's one going on. There's Sci-Fi Bartow. I just said I I think I'm over the conventions. I don't know. I just don't feel like I want to do it anymore. And then there was another convention in over on the East Coast, and I told the guy, "Thank you so much for asking me. I just don't feel up to it yet." So, but Bill, I still talk to Bill now because he releases his comics and all that he's working on. So Bill's always been awesome and fun to work with. He lets me really run with the character. I think there's one more I did with him with
Stormy Tempest, Fight for the Future.
Yeah. And those are more like cameos. One is I'm outside walking and I turn around and there's a giant woman and she steps on me. And then in the other one, I think I'm a bad guy robbing some girl, grabbing her purse, and Stormy Tempest flies out of the sky and punches me, knocks me down, grabs the purse and gives it back to the lady. And then she takes me to jail or something. It was real quick because Bill kind of is like me as far as, shooting stuff, but he'll be at the convention. He'll be like, oh yeah, the whole story's going to be around this convention. So I'll have my camera out. We'll shoot it all. And then I did Red Scorpion, I think, is for Bill Black. It's out streaming on his website, but I don't think he's released any DVDs of it. But I play another bad guy. And as I'm insulting the bad guy, I'm saying something like, oh, he's terrible. And I want that comic book and I'm taking it. You can't make me not take it. And even the Red Scorpion can't stop me. And then I look at the guy and I go, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? And I turn around and he's standing behind me, kind of like with the whole Batman thing, crime don't pay. And then him and I fight and it ends up in the parking lot. We fight out there. And then his sidekick, the girl that's with him, she comes out and she beats me up. And then, of course, I lose. It's his movie. They're the superheroes. They got to win. And but I saw it. Bill sent me the streaming thing, and I thought it's cute. It's fun, and it's got a lot of voluptuous women in it coming out of their costumes, which is great. And but it's just a fun thing. It's not blood and gore and stuff. It's just a fun little movie, and the superheroes take on all these evil bad guys, and I'm one of the if you had the nexus of the bad guys, and there's 6 of them, I'd be number 3 or 4. And then there's, 5 more throughout the movie that Red Scorpion's got to fight. So, yeah, it was a lot of fight doing that, too. I'm at the convention as a guest selling my movies, but then Bill's like, can we go shoot your scenes now? And I'm like, yeah, I got to tell my wife, hey, I got to go shoot the movie now. So, watch the tape. I'll be back.
So, I guess you were part of a few short film projects here called Phoenix and Landmine Love.
Landmine Love was another one. This guy, and I can't remember his name right offhand, but he's on the IMDb for it. He got to know me through Greg Lassar and the Art Institute again because he was a student. And I think the school set me up with him.
Sean DeGraw.
Yeah, Sean DeGraw. I think they set me up with him or said, this is one of our students doing something. Would you be interested in working with him? I said, yeah. I think he got in touch with me and just said, Joel, I've heard about you and I'd like to have you in this. And trying to remember what the hell I did in it. I was playing
Cupid.
Huh?
Cupid. You were playing Cupid.
Yes. And it's funny because I said, Sean, you're the only person I'll do this for. I took the oldest, tightest pants I could put on. Could barely squeeze into these pants. Then I took the smallest shirt I had from years ago and put it on. So I don't care if Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it in his best condition of his life. He would still look ridiculously, a big guy. And I remember the picture going up. It always bugs me about people. The guy, Sean DeGraw, puts the picture up on Facebook, and he goes, "Here's my character Joel Wynkoop as Cupid from my movie Landmine Love." And the first comment is, "Oh, that looks very dangerous. He needs to lose weight." I'm thinking, I'm playing a character. I did all this on purpose. I got these tight ass jeans on that I can't even zip up because those are jeans that fit me in my 20s, and you grow. So I just think it's funny when people just point out that stuff, and you're like, we're doing a movie. Can't you comment on the movie? Not, So when we were shooting, and that was sad too, because I was in the middle of shooting that when I got a phone call that my son was dying of cancer.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks, man. And of course, I was at home, got the message, and really broke down. I called my wife at work. I go, we got to leave right now to Vero Beach. I said, David's in the hospital. They said he has cancer. And I picked her up. We raced over. I think we spent 4 days with him because Kathy just took her vacation. And I don't think I was working no, I wasn't. I left Crystal Water in 2008. We came home. She went back to work the next day. The next morning, she had went to work. I got a phone call from the doctor. He goes, is this Joel Wynkoop? I said, yes. He goes, you need to come back here. You need to come back here right now. And we drove back over to Vero Beach to the hospital and got there with David and had, I think the whole day, I think a couple days again. And I remember I read him the book King Kong twice because he's in a coma, but I held his hand and Kathy held his hand. And then, of course, time's moving slowly because we didn't leave. We only left for like little breaks. You go to the bathroom, run back to the hotel, but then we were right back to the hospital to be with him. I went to get the book so I could read something to him, right back to the hospital. And then as I'm holding his hand, then I think I was starting to read Star Trek Generations to him. And during that, he passed away. And the nurse even told me, she goes, stop reading, he's gone. And then
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thanks, man. And then the within the 7 minutes, they chased us out of the room, and all the doctors ran in there. And the doctor told me, he goes, look, if he goes, I'm not going to be jumping up and down on his chest trying to bring him back, which I thought was weird. But I guess they thought I was going to be like some kind of lunatic that when somebody loses and they're like, screaming and yelling at the doctor, why don't you bring him? And stuff like that. And I wasn't. So I understood. But then he passed away, and they pushed us all out of the room. And with all the bad stuff I've had with my ex-wife, my wife now comforted my ex-wife. We all hugged each other. And as much hate she has for me now, then I think she appreciated it. And my wife now, Kathy, hugging her, giving her love, even though that person hated me and she hated her. And then all of a sudden, the curtains opened up, and the doctor looked out just like this. He pulled the curtains open, and he looked out to his right and he left, and he saw me looking at him. And I go, he just came back, didn't he? And the doctor said, yeah. And then he pulled open the curtains, and he told everybody get out. He said, let the dad get back in here because we don't know how long he's going to be here. And Kathy and I came back, held his hands again, and we stayed with him. And he stayed all overnight. And even his mom came in, but I don't think she was understanding what was going on. Something, I don't know. And because she would only come in for a little bit, and then she left again. But we stayed. We stayed all night. And I think it was the next morning, I was holding his hand again. And this time he was gone. And I really think that when he passed away the first time, I think that God was like, Joel, the dad is not getting that his son is gone. So I'm going to bring him back one more day so he can be with his son and, know that, hey, this is your last chance with your son. And that was it. It was, and it was rough. I stayed holding his hands for 2 hours as he passed away. and the nurse and my sister were there, and they were both like, Joel, I'm sorry, you got to leave. We have to take care of the body now. And they did get me out of the room. And I did. I remember going, because I wanted to scream so loud, like I did at my house when the doctor told me, because I screamed at my house. And but I held it back. My sister said, "Don't. You're going to be okay." And then I got out of the hospital, and then went to my ex-wife's house, where she was very welcoming then, and her boyfriend's parents were there trying to grieve and with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I went in. I told her I'll take care of everything. I will go and make sure of the cremation, everything. I'll take care of everything. Kathy and I did. And it's sad how parents will get upset with each other when I thought I'd done so much, and then can still remain to get so much hate from her when I tried to do everything in my power to make everything good, especially at this point, taking over all the medical, doing everything, all these medical bills coming in from the hospital. But Kathy and I took care of those, and it was you go home and you're grieving, and you can't believe. And then I had to go see the guy at the Fort Pierce, I forget, Hazley or Halsley funeral home to set up the cremation process for David.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was the one that gave the eulogy. I stood up front, and the memorial talked all about David and everything. And
may I ask you how old he was?
David was 20. I think he was 21 then.
That is a very young age. So I'm so sorry.
Thanks. Well, I you get through it, and you still miss him. I still miss him now. I get affected by it because I love David, and but I do remember it was within the next couple of days, and this landmine love I had left in the middle of it, and he had called me, and he's like, Joel, I'm so sorry, because you still got commitments to people, so you still got to make phone calls and say, hey, my son died, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we don't have to, you don't need to come back. And I said, no. I said, you tell me when I be there, I'll be there, and my son's going to be there with me, in my heart. And so I went right back to work on Landmine Love. And the funny thing was, they were saying, can you do something like run, fall down the ground, and roll over, and then jump back up, and then like jump to your left and jump to your right, who is Tommy Boy? Chris Farley. They go, can you do something like Chris Farley? And I go, you want me to do something like Chris Farley? You mean you want me to do something like John Belushi in Animal House when he rolled over and jumped up and he's waiting for the music, the orchestrated music?
Yeah.
And they said, who's John Belushi? And I go, oh, no, John Belushi was who Chris Farley looked up to. And so the whole thing with the Cupid, the suit I was in, or not the suit, but the tight pants and the tight shirt, and I had little wings on, and I rolled around on the ground, but I got through it. And I remember talking to David that day. They were setting the cameras up, and I was out in the middle of the street, and I go, well, here you are, David. You're with Dad, and you're seeing, Dad looked like an idiot today, but this is what Dad does, and I know you're here with me, son, and I love you so much. And but that came right in the middle of doing Landmine Love. And if you watch the short, and I lost it because the guy sent me a personal copy that was going to play at the theater, and as soon as I hit play and the movie started, it said dedicated to.
I can just see the emotions come running in.
It's a dedicated to David James Wynkoop. And then Marcus, of course, I was also doing one of the Hammer movies then, and it was around that same time, or the Hammer was afterwards because I named the character David Hammer after my son.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a little tribute to it, said dedicated to David James Wynkoop. And those just really hit me because it was, especially the Landmine Love one. And yeah, but that was right in the middle of that shoot. And I remember the guys were so nice to me. They were like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And he goes, and I told him, I said, "No, I gotta." It's the same thing when my mom passed away. Chris Woods, we were shooting dark comedy, and he goes, "Joel, I read your mom died. I'm so sorry. Don't worry about the shoot." I go, "No." I go, "My mom would expect me to go on and shoot, so I'll be there tomorrow." And I still, you move on. You grieve, but you can't. It's like you can't just
dwell on it,
right? And you can grieve and you can move on, and that's probably the best thing. Not in a bad way. You don't say like, "Oh, he died. Sorry, move on." Not that way. You have to have your grieving process, but you have to keep going. And that's what they would want. My mom would want that. David would want that. My dad would have wanted that. My dad never got to see all the stuff I've done, which I, was sad because my dad, passed away in 82. So I hadn't done anything. I did Twisted Illusions, but it was after, losing my dad. But I know when I was going to college at Tampa, here in college, for computer engineering, which I didn't stay with because it was over my head. But when I went back to see my dad in the hospital the first time before he passed away, the stuff I told him, he goes, you're way over my head. I don't even know what you're saying. He goes, I'm glad. But I always felt like when he died, I let him down because I didn't stay. I tried to stay. I switched to commercial art, but I got bored with that because they weren't going to get to the comic book stuff until the end of whatever their quarters or whatever they call it. And I just ended up dropping out of there. And yeah, so but that landmine love thing, yeah, that came, losing David was right in the middle of that.
Okay. After doing that, then you got involved with Demon and Postmortem America. How was being involved with those projects?
I think Postmortem America 2021 came first. That was Cameron Scott's movie, and Cameron knew me through, I think Facebook was up by then, and that's what you do as an actor. I do. You either accept all these friend requests from these people, or you reach out to them. I think really pretty much all my Facebook has been built on requests that I got. People saying, sent you a friend request, and I used to just accept them. Now I kind of like, well, how'd you hear of me? Is this? And now you got these things that are like these WhatsApp apps with these girls, and they say it's prostitution, and click here, come join our site. Girls will have sex with you. And I'm like, I'm married. They're pretty. I could care less. So I'm like, delete. But you don't know who's a real somebody that wants to know you from your movies, or maybe another movie maker, or just this busty chick that says, come join my prostitution ring.
I know. I get a lot of those too.
I think everybody
since I've become a producer over time and stuff like that. So it's like the more popular you become, the more you get some bots.
Yeah. And, Cameron wrote me and he goes, I got a part for you. I want you to play the owner of a bar. Melanie, who's a friend of mine too, Melanie Roble. He said, she's up here. She's working on the movie with Linnea Quigley. And I go, oh, cool. He goes, I want to fly you up, put you in, and have you do the bar scene. You'll be here. I think I was there 2 days. And they flew me up, flew me back. And, I played the guy behind the bar, the bartender. And I had all this dialogue. And I told Cameron, I said, Cameron, this is all good. But would you like to see how I would reword it and do it? And because it was very wordy. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I want to see you do it the way Joel Wynkoop would do it. So, and then I'm doing this scene with Melanie, but I kind of turn the script, and I was like, yeah, I know where she is. What's it to you? You come around here and you're asking me where he is? He's my friend. I'm not going to tell you where he is. Why don't you tell me where he is? Where are you right now? This is my bar. You have no right here. I own you. Mm-hmm. And I remember Melanie trying to scream back at me, and I told her, I go, Melanie, if this was my movie, I wouldn't have you scream. You're Rattlesnake Sally. Mm-hmm. I see you as very calm, deliberate, very Snake Plissken, and you'd be more like, give me what I needed to know, no matter what. So, and then there was a scene where she grabs my head and slams it down on the bar. And I wanted to see, I said, I want to hit that bar. I want to make a good scene. So I threw my head down, hit the bar, almost knocked myself out. I go, oh, shit, that was too hard. So I got over that, put a couple washcloths down, and then I told Melanie, just grab the back of my head and bash it down on the bar. So she did. It still hurt. Not as bad because the washcloths were there. But still hurt. But Cameron goes, man, that was much better than what I wrote. That was awesome. And the next scene was Melanie has me tied up to a chair, and I think she stabs a knife into my leg or cuts my chest or something, and then throws gas all over me. And then through the magic of CGI, throws a match on me, and I burst. Kind of like an Alien Agenda Monster Man. I did a scene, and Tim was just starting with the CGI on. It looked kind of fake, but it was fun. Okay. They throw the match on me, and I burst into flames. Well, same thing with Melanie playing Rattlesnake Sally. She throws the match on me, and I catch on fire, and that's the end of me in that movie. But playing the bartender. But it was a lot of fun. I shot it, and I think I hung out with everybody. And what was really neat in that was there was a guy there, and I can't remember if he was acting in the movie, but he was friends with Cameron. And I remember at one point after I got all bloody and wet, and I went to Cameron. I go, is there anywhere I can change? Because I wasn't by my hotel. They'd have to drive me back to the hotel. And he goes, so-and-so's house, it's a mobile home trailer. And he goes, so-and-so lives over there. He's a friend. You can go over there and knock on their door and ask him. So I go knock on the door. He opens the door and he goes, Joel Wynkoop, King of the B Movies, is knocking on my door. What do you want, sir? What do you need? And I go, I'm sorry, do you think I could use your shower? Oh, my God, King of the B Movies is going to use my shower. So he got me in the house, and he got his wife out and his kids, and I'm meeting all of them, and she's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And he goes, I can't believe you're standing here in my house. And gets me back. He took me through the trailer and then back into, I don't know if it was his room or some kind of room, but it was all comic books. So I thought I died and went to heaven. And he goes, Mr. Wynkoop, this is for you. He goes, this is my first version or my first edition of this new comic book called The Walking Dead, way before the TV show. So I got that first copy from him. And I was like, man, thank you so much. And then presented me with the shower. I got my shower, got dressed. He got me back on set. Or I think it was before I was to catch my flight, because I remember the girl was running late. She came, and I go, are you taking me to the airport? And she goes, I don't know, am I? And I go, I think so, and I got to get there soon or I'll miss my plane. Then I went to Cameron, and he goes, yeah, where have you been? Get him to the airport. She goes, oh, sorry. So I got in the car. Oh, that's right. She was going to get Linnea Quigley. So I got in the car. She dropped me off at the airport. She goes, she gave me a hug, kissed me goodbye. She goes, you go that way. I got to go get Linnea. So that's how Linnea Quigley and I, we've known each other for years. I've been to her house when we shot. I shot something for her at her house. Then we've seen each other at conventions. But the young lady ran to get Linnea, and I took the escalator up and had to run down. I did miss my flight. And I remember the one girl helping me. She goes, if you want, I can get you on the flight to Orlando. And I go, yeah, just get me on a plane. So then I called my wife in Florida and said, hey, I'm coming back, but I'm coming back on a later flight. You got to drive to Orlando to get me. It was I'm running right up and the plane's taking off. So the girl goes, I can put you on the Orlando flight right next to it. And then I got on that one. So my wife, her mom and dad came up to Orlando, and they picked me up at the airport there. And that was Postmortem America 2021. Then the closest, when I was there, this is why I left Crystal Water. I had 1 month vacation coming, and they wouldn't give it to me. I mean, they've always done this anyway. Doesn't matter how much time you had in. We had to sit in the office, 20 of us, and they would go, Joel, you've been here the longest. What week do you want? And then I tell him my week. Okay, Bill, you've been here 2 weeks. What one do you want? Then he picks his. Then I'm like, well, that's the one I wanted. But I can't do nothing about it. Even though I've been here 20 years, the guy 2 weeks is getting to check his vacation next. Then the next guy. Where do you want it? I'll take this. So by the time it gets back to me, I'm like, I can't get any weeks together. So I took all my weeks separate and got it done. But then I told my boss, basically, I said, I'm giving you my notice. 2 weeks, I'm out of here. I said, I got this movie to play in Indiana, and then I got to do Body in a Dumpster in Iowa. So if I want to pursue my career, you guys aren't, I deserve a whole month off so I can do these movies, but I can't. And a lot of people don't know this because a lot of talk about 100 Tears. I was supposed to do 100 Tears. I was going to be Gertie the Clown. Marcus came to me and Joe Davison. They offered me $3,000 to do it. I said, that's awesome, but I'm still working at Crystal Water. And Marcus called me one, and I took the job. I go, yeah, I'll do it. But then he called me and he goes, Joel, the investors want to see you shoot tomorrow. I go, well, I got to go to work tomorrow. And he goes, well, I don't know how we're going to do this because the investors are coming with the money and they want to see you on set doing the scenes. And I go, Marcus, I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it. I can't not go to work and come in. And because it didn't cross my mind, to leave the company. Even for $3,000, I make more money at Crystal Water than I do getting $3,000 for 100 Tears. Because I met with Joe and Marcus, and even the fact that they got investor money. I remember Marcus telling me, the investor said, you got Joel Wynkoop connected to this movie? And Marcus said, yeah, he's going to play Gertie the Clown. And the guy, I can't remember, he's from Germany. He said, I'm going to give you that money. And then they got some of the money from him for me to be in the movie, but I couldn't do it. And I remember saying Jack Amos could do this part. And Joe or Marcus got in touch with Jack Amos, and then Jack Amos took the movie. But because the investor wanted to see it, they wanted to be on the set the next morning. That's when I told Marcus, I can't do it. Maybe, Jack would be cool. And because I just saw a thing on 100 Tears, and it would have been cool to have been mentioned by Joe or Marcus that, we had Joel Wynkoop. He was ready to, play it. We offered him the money, but he had his job and he couldn't. So after that, when I got the one in Indiana, Body in a Dumpster in Iowa, and Postmortem in Indiana, that's when I said, I'm giving him my 2-week notice. I got to make my choices. I should have done 100 Tears. And, I didn't. So, but after that, that's when I learned. I said, I'm going to leave the water business. I've been there 20 years, and I'll pursue the acting. And that was one after the other. It was Postmortem America 2021 in Indiana. Then I flew to Iowa to do,
Was it Demon?
No. Whatever the Body in a Dumpster.
Body in a Dumpster.
Yeah. And then I think I came back and did Unexpecting. So it was a lot of movies, and that worked into Stop Dead and the Uh-Oh Show. But Demon was a movie. I'm trying to remember who was down there. Somebody was down at, that's what it was. My agent, Shelby McIntyre. He called me on the phone, or I called him because I said, Shelby, this audition for this movie called Demon, put me down for that. I want to go down for that. And he's like, okay. And it was like the next morning. And I can't remember if it was the next morning. I called Shelby and I go, Shelby, it's Joel. And he's like, yeah, man, what's up? And I think it was this Saturday. So I don't think he was happy about it because he's not working. I think I called him at his house. And I go, I don't know. I don't feel like going down for this audition. He goes, then don't fucking go. And I go, well, I told you I would. I told Ben's, my agency, which Shelby works at Ben's, and he's my agent. But he's also saying, it's not that big a deal. If you don't want to go, don't go. So I go, okay, I'm not going to go. And I go back to bed. And then I'm laying in bed for like 10 minutes, and I go, maybe I should go. So I called Shelby back again. I go, Shelby, it's Joel. He goes, now what? And I go, I think I'm going to go. Then fucking go. And I go, yeah, I said, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to go. Okay, I think I'm going to go. He goes, okay. We hang up the phone. I lay back down in bed, and I go, I don't want to go. I just don't want to go. I'm not going to get it. I'm going to drive to Sarasota. It's going to be a big waste of time. I'm not going to get the part. Then I got to drive all the way back home. I'm not going. So I called Shelby back, and I go, fuck it. I'm not going to go, man. He goes, I don't give a fucking shit what you do, man. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to fucking go, then don't go. I hang up the phone. I lay back down with my wife, and I look at her, and I go, I'm going to go. And I got up, drove to Sarasota, lined up with all the other actors. And one of them was funny. There was a girl there that I knew from other auditions. And he had me in the room doing the audition. But he goes, can you come on to that girl and get like really close with her and maybe, do some kissing and stuff? And I'm like, okay. And so the girl comes over and he wanted to see an improv. So I improv this whole thing about, you're doing really good in the business, but I could get you places if, just spend a little time with me. And then we start kissing. And he's like, I love that. And so another girl came in and he goes, Joel, I want you to sit down with us. I want you to watch her because then I'm going to put you in the scene with her. And I want you to do the same kind of thing. So that was the other woman. And the same thing. I had to do the same scenario and we're kissing. He's like, I love that. So the girl leaves. She doesn't get a part in it. But, and then he goes, well, can you do, I can't remember if I did this then or I did it before, but I did my thing from Jaws, which I start out with, cause he said, can you do your, you know what I'm trying to say?
Your Jaws impression or
yeah. But he used the technical term for it and I can't think of it now. So I go, yeah. And that's my thing with Jaws with the, when he sits there and he goes, that Mr. Hooper is the USS Indianapolis. And he goes, you're on the Indianapolis. And he goes, and then he goes into the story. So I start out with as we are coming back from the island of Tinian de Lady. We just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. And went into the water. And then I do the whole thing, but I forgot part of it. So I stopped and I go, that's basically it, trying to get out of it. And he goes, can you do the whole thing? And I go, yeah. He goes, start over again, do the whole thing. So I did the whole thing all the way to I'll never put on a life jacket again. That was the story, 1945, whatever it was. And I did that. And he goes, that was great. They're all clapping. And he goes, how'd you like to play the sheriff in the movie? And I go, man, I'd love to. They go, you got it. You got the sheriff. You got the lead role. But the girl that's in it with me, I would say Jasmine Waltz. She was more the lead. But I would say I'm the lead role as far as the sheriff. But then you had Bruce Housekeeper and you had Michael. And we're all in it as much.
Bill Housekeeper.
Yeah, Bill Housekeeper. And Michael came down from L. They all came from LA. I was the only Tampa person. There was one girl. She's also with Ben's. I can't remember her now, but she was there playing the FBI agent. And that was really cool to do. And this is how other actors can help other actors. I'm on the set one day and I think I was traveling there every day. I didn't stay down there. I think I drove up back and forth, but that's close enough. So, I wanted to have some time at home too. So I, get up at 8, drive up there, be there by 10 or whatever, and then shoot till whenever, and then come home and go back. One day there's me and there's the director and the producer, and we're kind of standing there and they're like, well, that fucking sucks. How dare he does that to us? And I'm like, not timid about jumping into someone's conversation. And they liked me. They liked having me. In fact, the director, Rob, he thought I was great because I just make shit up. And he all the takes were wrecked because he was in the back seat laughing his ass off. And the camera guy goes, we can't use any of that because you're laughing. He goes, he's fucking funny. And he goes, you want to try another one and try not to laugh? So we did that. We did a whole thing where I just improvised everything and he loved it. And then he wrote a little thing for me. He goes, it's really neat because it was like in Ed Wood, Johnny Depp says to the guy that's supposed to be playing Lugosi. He says, I wrote something. Can you do that for me? And he's like, oh, Eddie, I will do this for you. And the director wrote it for me. And I looked at it and I go, got it. Let's do it. And he's like, oh, great. Thanks. But when I was standing next to them, I go, hey, guys, what? It's not my business, but I'm just asking because we're all friends. What's the matter? Oh, the guy that was playing the coroner, he just called and quit. He says he doesn't want to do it unless we give him more money. And I go, I got a guy that can be here in an hour and a half. Really? And I go, yeah. I looked Bob Glazer up, who I've worked with on a lot of movies, and found his picture. And I go, there's your coroner. And I showed him the phone, and they go, oh, he'd be great. I go, he'll be here in an hour and a half. You gonna pay him? We can give him $60. I go, he'll do it. And I hit them. They're going, spending money on this thing right and left. So I called Bob And he goes, hey, Joel. And I go, Bob. I said, are you doing anything? He goes, no. I go, come to Sarasota right now. I'm sending you the address. He goes, okay, I'll be right there. He got there in an hour and a half. They suited him up as the coroner, gave him his lines, took him out. We shot some of his scenes at the school. And yeah, inside the school in a kind of set up like a mortuary type with the metal table and the body with the chest split open. And Bob did his best on, mortician scene. And he wouldn't have got that if I didn't just pick him up and call him on the phone. I have a friend here, Dave Vogel, and he's done that 2 or 3 times for me. He's called me on the phone. He goes, Joel, these people making this movie, you're what they're looking for. You got to come down here and audition. And I was like, I just won't get it. But then I went, and then as it worked out, I got a small role. But then again, I told them about Bob Glazer. Then they gave Bob Glazer my role, and I go, oh God, I just screwed myself out of a part. And then I got another role, but I wasn't happy with it. But I'm like, I'll be in the movie. And then the day of the shoot, that director calls me up, and he goes, hey Joel, you're doing it 4 today, right? And I go, yeah. He goes, we're going to change your role. And I thought, oh, now what? And he goes, how'd you like to play the police Captain O'Malley? And I go, oh, you kidding? He goes, yeah, it's one of the leads. And I go, man, that'd be great. I'd love it. And I said, I haven't looked at any of those lines because I just looked at mine, and then you gave it to Bob, and then you gave me another role, and there was no speaking. So I haven't looked at any of those lines. I go, and I showed him videos. I had auditioned for every single character in the movie. We did it here in my office, and my neighbors heard me, and they were going to call the cops because I was like, I will fucking cut your head off, really loud. And my wife was screaming, and so I got the role of Captain O'Malley in that ended up being in Fury, The Tales of Ronan Pierce, which was changed to Crazed because Fury was that tank movie with Matt Damon, and there was a big legal matter and stuff. In fact, Tank came out streaming, but it had the audio of my movie, Crazed. And when Crazed came out, it had the audio from Fury, the tank movie with Matt Damon. So you watch the movie, and Matt Damon might be my voice or whoever else's because they get screwed up. So they're whoever it was in charge of that said, here's these names you can change it to. And one of them was Crazed. And that's what they changed it to. But that's how actors, can help each other. Don't be so caught up in yourself going, oh, I got to get a good acting job. I got to, it's just me. Think of your fellow actors. And I've always done that. And my fellow actors do that for me. Because more than times, David Vogel's called me 3 times and said, Joel, these guys they don't want me. They don't want so-and-so. They're looking for you. They just don't know it yet. I'll go to the audition and I get it. And that's the one for Crazed or Fury, The Tales of Ronan Pierce. And Demon. Got Bob in that because I'm a friend of Bob's. They needed a corner. First person I thought of was Bob. Called him. Bob's out. And he's got a role in the movie. So,
nice.
And Demon was cool. There was one day we were shooting something, and I told them that was going to happen. I can't remember why. They said, "Well," I said, "Don't we have to complete the scene?" And they go, "Well, yeah, but we're going to do it tomorrow." I go, "You're going to complete the scene that we're doing right this second tomorrow?" Well, yeah, we'll just get you back in the same position. I go, you're going to have a hell of a time lighting this tomorrow like it is today. And when I came back, I didn't have the proper sheriff's suit. They had it. I said, the closest I got, or something happened to it. I don't know what. I said, I got this one. It's an off green. It doesn't match. So in the middle of the movie, you're watching me and Jasmine and somebody else, and the 2 little kids are talking, and right in the middle of a scene, my clothes just changed. And I remember watching it saying, I told them that day, finish the scene now. I don't know why we didn't finish it now. But they wanted to do it the next day, right in the middle of it. So it's not even a cut. It's just one time I'm wearing the sheriff's shirt. We are lined up in the same way exactly, but my shirt changes and it changes from a bright day to a dark day. It's very mismatched, but that's independent filmmaking, independent movie making. But yeah, that was Demon. A lot of fun. I remember, I go to my distributors all the time, and I'll buy like 20, 30 copies of my movies. Then I resell them at conventions and stuff or online or whatever. And that's one of them. Well, a lot of them end up that way. The distributor, has thousands of them, but when they run out, they'll leave it aside. Are we gonna republish this movie, or are we done with it? And this particular distributor, I went back and I said, "Hey, can I get some more copies of Demon?" He goes, "Joel," he goes, "I don't have any more. We're not running that anymore." And there's been several movies that I've tried to get that were mine from my distributors, and they go, "We don't have that no more." Ron Bonk at SRS Studios, I wanted to get more Creep. He goes, "Joel, I'm not running any more Creep. I'm not running any more Screaming for Sanity. No more Truth That Airs. No more Wicked Games." And I was like, wow. So I don't, and again, at this level as a distributor, and that's what people don't think, these distributors don't make a lot of money. I mean, they got so many movies and they're trying to push them all, but they got their websites, they got the money they put in them. When our movie Dirty Cop No Donut got in the movie Men in Black 2, I thought that was awesome. But I know it wasn't like Ron sneaking in there and going, "Oh, just sneak this on the shelf while nobody's watching." No, he's got to sign contracts and deals, and there's money's crossed, and so yeah, it's always a money thing, and then I try and do it as if I'm acting. I'll say, well, they'll say, what do you? I want 300 a day. Doesn't necessarily mean I get it. I can't do 300. What can you do? I can do 150. Okay, I'll do that. If I'm leaving town to go like for Clownado and stuff, I want 300 a day, because now I'm disrupting my life. I'm leaving my wife. I'm getting on a plane. I got to fly 6 hours somewhere, get off the plane. It isn't on Clownado with Todd. He took really good care of me, got me in a hotel, took me out to a grocery store. He bought me enough stuff for a week, brought it back, put it in my refrigerator. They would come get me to take me to the set, bring me back to the hotel, after the shoot, flew me there, flew me back, paid me. Even gave me a vest from the movie. So those are all the nice things that go, along with it. But at home, I have a guy that might say, hey, that same guy, Aaron Bellamy, he was shooting Metagod 2, which never came out. But we were going to the beach. He goes, well, I'll give you $100. I go, I'm going to be on the beach. That's kind of enjoyable. And we're going to do martial arts. That'll be fun. And you're going to give me $100. I'm there. I'll do that. That sounds great. So it just kind of depends where it is and what's going to go on with it. Like I said, if I'm staying here, but there's a lot of stuff like, I don't know. I don't think it was Vomit Soup. It was one of them. I was just there to do it. But John Miller was like, well, here, man, all I got is $16, but it's yours. And I appreciated that. I was already there, not going to do it for money. But John, was just like, he wanted to pay me something. So he's like, this is all I got is $16, but that's for your job today. And I'm like, I'm helping him out to begin with. And that's nice. He's making an effort. When I did Mr. Sleaze with the Sleaze box, that was kind of funny, because I remember, I think Chris.
Make them sleazy. Make them guys sleazy.
I think that day I showed up and shot the scenes, and I think Chris, he gave me like 10 or 15 bucks. And I just thought, God, everything I went through for $15, but it's Chris. He's my friend, and he could have picked another actor. So, as I didn't like the makeup. They put all this pancake crap, and it was green. And I just didn't like that. But yeah, so I don't know how I got from whatever to there, but it merged into a money thing. And I think helping everybody out. I think that's what it started with, where me helping out Bob and Dave Vogel helping out me. And then I returned the favors to these other actors to be in my movies. So, and then I pay everybody too. So, not a lot. I can't afford a lot. No. But when Tim and I were doing it, Tim Ritter and I, we spent like $3,000. I think I gave Tim $3,000 as my part to put into Creep, because we had to pay Kathy Willits. And then Jim Moore, he put together this big smorgasbord thing with all this food. And he goes, oh yeah, you and Joel owe me $1,000 for that. And we're like, we didn't tell you to do this, man. Current Affair came and he wanted to make a big deal out of it. And Tim was like, well, it is Current Affair. It would look really cool if we had all this. And Current Affair crew's going through, eating all our food. And so, more money than we had. But like on Paranormal Club, when we got done shooting Paranormal Club, I lined all my actors up, and I just took out, I don't know, I had a couple hundred with me. So, first actor, I went, here, put your hand out, 20 for you, 20 for you, 20 for you, 20 for, still over $100. That was a lot of money for me, but I wanted to pay them all. And they're like, hey, I didn't ask for it. And they're giving me the money back. This is how cool they are. Rick Danford and I think Austin Janowski, they're like, I didn't, you don't have to pay me. You don't. I go, nope, I should be paying you. I want to get paid. You guys should get paid. So like I said, keep the money. I want you guys to have it. Oh, thanks. And when we did Diary of Blood, Joe Sherlock's thing, I took everybody at the house around the corner and I go, hey, this is for you coming out here. You know, I'm paying everybody. And everybody got $20. That's not a lot. Or I think they all got $20. One guy came back. He got another 20. And then we did Tim Ritter's house. I paid everybody on that. Again, not a lot, but better than nothing. And I had all kind, Ian Stevens, this is your payment, $20. Walter Maceda, here's your payment, $20. One guy, Russ Isles, he came back twice, so he got paid twice. And again, they don't know they're getting paid. But I was like, I want to pay these people. And Craigline Incident, I paid everybody on that. So I want to do these things for my actors. The actor deserves to be paid. I know one time there was a thing, and Bob was telling me about it. The guy was up on stage. He goes, well, I got $100,000 camera, and I got $80,000 worth of editing equipment, and I got 50 grand in this, and all this money in this, and all. And he's going on about all the money he's got. And my actors work for free. Well, that kind of sucks. You'll pay all the money for the equipment, but you won't give the actors a friggin' dime, and they'll be lucky if they get something. So, I learned from when Tim and I did it, that we always paid people in all our movies. Lost Faith, I didn't, but I had a great smorgasbord for everybody, from Dale's Barbecue, Pizza Place, and Finally Good Food Catering, and all these good places in Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce. So everybody got fed really well. But that was like my fourth movie. So, but like I said, when Tim and I were doing it, we were paying people. And my first one over here, when I did, when I went and did the Paranormal Club, I said, I got to start paying everybody because nobody got paid in the bite. That was kind of like, here's a chance for you to be in a cool movie, IMDb credits. But now everything I do, I got to pay these people. It might not be a lot, but it's better than not paid, So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the thing on payment, friendship, and doing what you got to do. Just keep out there.
Definitely. So, I was being involved with the first High 8 anthology. In a segment called A Very Bad Situation.
Yeah, that was it was cool in a way, but then I was also felt like nobody probably cares to have me in this. I remember asking Tim, I said, I can shoot a segment. He goes, no, it wasn't really Tim's whole rap thing. There was another guy, and he was like, I don't think they're interested in having you do your own segment. And I was like, oh. So you feel kind of like, oh, what am I, chopped liver? So you're like, okay. But then Marcus called me up, and Marcus goes, hey, Joel, I want you to play the weatherman in A Very Bad Situation. And I go, okay, cool. And I found out later, the only reason I got it, which was very nice to Tim Ritter, but then you kind of feel like, oh, they just threw me a bone because they're probably like, oh, he sucks. Don't put him in anything, but, throw him a bone. Let him be the weather. So Marcus had told me that Tim called Marcus and he goes, hey, Marcus, try and put Joel in that, so he can be a part of this. So then Marcus calls me and tells me, do you want to be the weatherman? And I'm there. And then I said, yeah. And then I went and did it. And then I found out, he goes, well, Tim called me and told me to put it in. So it's not like, oh, Joel Wynkoop's this great actor, I'll put him in the movie. It's like, well, Tim was nice and told Marcus, and Marcus was nice, so he got Joel to be in the movie. So I went to Marcus's house. We shot it on a green screen. And Marcus was nice because he told me, he goes, that's what I like about you, Joel. You're a one-take wonder. He goes, I don't have to edit anything. I think we did it 3 times, and he let me kind of, improv. I was like, well, it's Dave Stanley here with the weather today, and oh boy, that weather in Minnesota is very, very cold. Oh, I didn't bother to tell you people that there's going to be meteorite storm tonight, and it's going to light up the whole sky. So you better be sure to stay inside because you might get your eyelashes singed off. And that's the weather for tonight. See you later. And Marcus goes, oh God, that was great. And again, I just got to, improv it all. I mean, cover the meteorite part. That's where the monster came from. So that's what I did. And that's how I got my scene in High 8. Basically, Tim telling Marcus, why don't you give Joel a part? Marcus calling me, come over, do this. And no matter how I got it, whether they thought, oh, Joel, it'd be cool to put in that, or, well, Tim asked me to throw him a bone and put him in it. It doesn't matter. I'm in it. So that's what counts.
Yep. After that, you were in a short film called Mombi, something called A2 The Anomaly.
A2 The Anomaly was, again, Kelly Helen Thompson. That was her sequel to The Witch's Talisman. And Kelly, basically, she had my phone number. She called me up. She said, Joel, I'm doing part 2. Do you want to come in? And you're going to be like this character that kind of controls the alternate worlds or what have you. And I'm going to turn you into a horse at the end. And I was kind of like, that's weird. It sounds fun, Kelly. I'll do it. And of course, she always throws some money at me. So that's nice. Went over, had a backyard, had a green screen, and did this whole scene kind of like I'm explaining. And I rip open my shirt. You can see another galaxy is inside my body. And I think I was pulling stuff out of it, like magical stuff. And then I explain all this stuff. And then I turned into a horse and ran off, galloped off. And so that was kind of weird, but fun. It was fun to do it. Everything. And I try to do a different character each time. So when I'm doing this guy that can control alternate realities, he's not like Dan Hess or Gus Kimball or Steve Nakota. This is a new character I'm doing. So that's what I like to be able to do, to try and do something new, to make it so when someone watches it, they'll go like, oh, this is a really different character for him. And what was the other one? Mombi. That was for David. Forget his last name now. But same thing. He called me. I think he reached me on Facebook. And he goes, I'm doing this short called Mombi. And I want you to play, I think I was the some neighbor that was really like an annoying neighbor. And he was pissed that the people, their dog keeps coming in his yard. And I go over there, and then Jules Sierra was in it, and he plays like the housing authority. And he comes into the house at mealtime, and I show up to bitch about it. And then the wife is a zombie. And as I'm talking, they're all blaming stuff on me, saying that I was trying to grope the wife. And the little kid's going, oh, he's a groper. And let's see, then I think at the end I get bitten and I become a zombie, because in the end credits you see me coming back to their house, and when they go to look out the eye hole, you see me outside the eye hole looking in like that, like he's a zombie. And that was fun to do. It was a lot of dialogue, because I remember looking at it going, wow, it's a lot. And then he had a like an applause track going with it, like if it was a television show live on stage, when they just put soundtracks in, and he did that. So if I'd say something, you'd hear people go, oh, and you'd hear clapping. And so it's a real different thing to be in. And but again, a lot of fun. And he let me run with it. He let me get agitated when I'm saying like, she's a zombie. And they're going, oh, she's not a zombie. She just has a white face and likes to eat people, but she's not a zombie. And I was the only one that was getting annoyed by the wife being a zombie. So, but it was fun. It was a fun time.
Okay. So after that, you were in a short film called Mombi?
That was the one I was talking about. That's Mombi.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was, the mother is a zombie, so therefore she's a Mombi.
Chomp? You were in a project called Chomp?
Oh, Chomp, yeah. That's and there's another one you had said that I think it was called Zodiac or something. It was the one word that you had asked me earlier. That I'm barely in that. It's only the guy goes, this is your next mission, and they show him a picture of me, and the guy just says, oh, he's I'll kill him or something. Mm-hmm. So that was the guy just wrote me, and he goes, I just want to have you in my movie. And then I was like, well, and he was in Orlando. He goes, I don't need you to come here. I can't pay you. Do I have permission to use your picture in my movie? And I said, yeah. And I couldn't do the signing on my computer. So I go, look, you got my permission, man. Just put my name on it. I said, I ain't gonna bother you about, if you ever release or if you don't. And that's not me, and that's not what I'm about. I'm not Tom Cruise. I'm just a little guy trying to make a couple bucks. So put my name on it. Don't worry about it. So he put my name on the release. I said, that's fine. The other one, Mombi, then Chomp was with Lynn. She contacted me also. Yeah, a lot of stuff comes out of Facebook. That's the only reason I have it. Because I don't care about taking pictures of here's my spaghetti I ate last night. I don't care. You know, a lot of people do that. Here's the lobster I had. I had lobster last night. Let me show everybody. Mine is mostly about my movies. If you want to buy a movie, here's what I'm doing next. Something like that. So Chomp, Lynn got a hold of me. She goes, Joel, I really want you to be in this movie. And I said, okay. And I remember there's a couple of things that because I remember going to her to like a storage area where she was going to shoot. But then I think at the last minute, they said they couldn't do it. So she goes, I'm not even going to do it now. And then I was like trying to get her to do it, but I wanted to be in it because I'm, kind of psyched about it. Mm-hmm. So I said, Lynn, look, I could probably write something really, really quick and you could do that. So you don't have to not do it. No, this is the way I want to do it. If I can, I said, okay. I said, if anything changes, let me know. And then I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, she goes, hey, I got everything under control. We're going to do Chomp. I want you to be, I think you got the name I play there in the IMDb.
Dr. John Croft.
Yeah. And he's kind of a military guy too. Cause then I had a picture of me with an actual bazooka that I bought for a 1996 Alien Agenda Endangered Species from G.I. Joey's in Fort Pierce. Cause I remember buying it when it was connected and I set it down. I go, I'm going to buy this. And he took out a hacksaw and he starts cutting. I go, hey, what are you doing to my rocket launcher? He goes, are you kidding? I can't fucking sell this to you. And he goes, you could take down a 747 with this. He goes, I got to cut it in half. I'm like, okay. And then he gave me 2 halves of the rocket launcher. And to use it in 1996 in the Alien Agenda Endangered Species, I put it back together. And then I, ran duct tape or some kind of tape around it. And then tried to make it the same color with a construction paper, and that didn't work. So then I spray painted it the best army green I could. And through the years, it's kind of gotten bent a little, but I had that in, it's a picture of me as Dr. John Croft with the rocket launcher. And then it's just about Lynn, or it's just about Lynn's, the character she wrote has trapped a zombie in her house, but it's not a zombie. It's a kid coming home from a Halloween costume party looking like a zombie. But the lady keeps trying to feed him chunks of meat, and he's look, lady, I'm not a zombie. And finally he gives in just to get out of there. He goes, all right, I'm a fucking zombie, rah, rah. And then I think she killed him, or we get on TV and we talk about it. And the old lady gets bit, I think, by him. And she's the zombie on the show. When we go, well, let's look at her now. And then they cut to an encaged glass cage, and she's in there. And I can't remember her name right now, but she's an actress I've worked with before. And she's a lot of fun. She was fun to work with. And of course, Lynn's story. And so it's kind of like on a talk show, and he's talking to me about zombies, and I'm telling him, I wrote this book about zombies. I know what a zombie is. And then I go on and on and on with Kyle, the other guy that's in it. And it was fun to work for Lynn, and she handpicked me. A lot of them, it's fun when a filmmaker has something and they don't just want anybody, and my phone will just ring and they'll just go, no, I wrote it for you. I've had lots of them that I said, no, I wrote the scene for you. In Schwanoki, Ryan Workman called me. He goes, I wrote the scene for you. But he wanted me to be the army captain. He goes, oh, God, I thought about it. He goes, I'm going to be the one to kill Joel Wynkoop on a set. Because he sent his people, the actors had to go to an actual facility where for 2 days they had to work like a boot camp. And the guy was like, get down, get under that barbed wire. Come on, fat boy. And shit like that. And I go, oh, that might have been different. But he had me play the cryptozoologist in that instead. But but that's how a lot of my stuff, that's how it's come to me. Jason Stevenson, when I did Strip Club Slasher, he got a hold of me on MySpace and we talked. I go, hey, man, anytime you got anything for me, I'd love to do it. And he goes, you'd want to work with me? He goes, I grew up in high school watching Truth or Dare. I was watching you. And same as Ryan Cavallini, when he first met me, he's like, man, I watched you when I was in college. I'm going, that's the guy I want to be like. He makes his own movies. And when I got to work with him, that's what they said. They go, man, we'd love to have you work on our movie. And that's how I got Detective Dooley on Strip Club Slasher. So it's really great when the filmmaker the movie maker will come to you and go, "Hey Joel, I got this scene just for you." I don't think I've gotten any lately, but those were the days when they did. It was great because I get a lot of phone calls or Facebook or MySpace at that time where they asked me that I wrote this scene for you. That's how Doggo was, so that's great to have that happen.
So you were part of a project called Townhouse of Terror?
That was, of all things, I saw that in the newspaper or something on Facebook. I think it was on Facebook again. Okay. And I think he reached out to me too. He said, "I'm a realtor here in Tampa, but I'm also a movie maker. And I saw your IMDb. I saw everything you've done. I can offer you $300 to come over, and I want you to be in this movie where you're a slumlord." And I go, "Yeah, cool." So we went over to his property, and it was about him coming in, and I think there was something about where I was supposed to kill people and then I eat them. And then I can't remember how a mummy gets involved with it. I think the girl that works there has an amulet, and she brings a mummy to life. So the mummy chases me up the stairs and into the bedroom, and the mummy strangles me, and I fight the mummy, and it finally strangles me and kills me and throws me down on the bed. And I think that was it. And then the mummy turns to the woman and she goes, "You've done good. You killed the slumlord or something." And it was all for his real estate company. So I thought that was kind of funny. It wasn't like I'm doing this short for a contest or I'm doing it for whatever. It's because he's in real estate and he had all these properties, and he goes, and that's why it was called Estate of Terror or something, or realist. What was it called? Townhouse.
Townhouse of Terror.
Townhouse of Terror, yeah. So, and then I met a very nice guy and his wife. They're actors, and she's the one that conjures up the mummy, and he was in this mummy suit. And I think we just shot that in a day. Maybe we came back a second day because to get parts at night or something, or the garage scenes. I think we did 2 days on that. Okay. But same thing. He wrote me on Facebook. He goes, "I've seen your work, and I'd like to know if you'd act for me, and I can offer you $300 a day," because he saw something about me. That's what I asked, and I got to do that. So that's another one where someone just came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, I saw your work. I want you to act in this." Okay. And that's how it was a Mr. Engagement too, because Joe Davison came to me and said, "Do you want to be a part of this?" And he had another movie he just released with a bunch of kids. I had 3 different jobs in that. One, he called me and they offered me a role. And I said, "Oh, that'd be great." I think it was the coach of the school. I go, "Yeah, thanks." But then the school or something said they can't shoot that scene for whatever reason over in Sarasota. So they called me and they go, "Hey, you can't be the coach because now we lost that scene. But Joe wants you to do this one." And I go, "Oh, that's cool." And that was something else. And then the school said, "No, you can't do that kind of scene here. It's somebody else breaking up a fight." And then so they called me back and they go, "Now we can't use you now because we can't shoot that." And there was one more, another one he gave me in it. And same thing. A day later, I think it was Caroline. She called me and she goes, "Yeah, they can't do that scene ever either. So sorry that we bothered you with." I was supposed to be in it, and Joe handpicked me for that, and it just ended up that I didn't get the role because they kept. I guess he said the school kept telling him, "You can't use that part of the facility. You can't use this." So the role I had was in those places, and then they just said, "We're not going to use you because we can't do what we want." Okay. But again, that was one where they reached out to me and said, "We want you to do this."
Okay.
And also when 100 Tears 2 was supposed to take place, I had the Joe wanted me to play the mayor of the city. And that was cool, but 100 Tears Part 2 never happened. So that kind of went away.
So then you were eventually part of Chaos AD as Mr. Fragment, correct?
Yeah. That was neat because, and again, same thing. I didn't audition for that. Chris just called me up and said, "You want to play the part of Mr. Friedman, named after the filmmaker?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be cool." He goes, "Okay, I need you to look at YouTube videos of I want to say Dusty Rhodes, but I don't think it was Dusty Rhodes. Maybe it was because Dusty Rhodes is the one I knew back when I was 15. He was there in Lake Park playing. They would do a wrestling thing up the road from us, and my neighbor lady said, "Have these signs that say, I will hold your spot in line while you get a cold, soothing glass of water or soda." And we did that. Our Johnny's mom wrote the things, and Johnny and me and Choco would go up there and hold these signs, and people would give us $1, and then we'd be in the line, and they go get a soda, and then they come back, and we get back out of line, and that was for wrestling with Dusty Rhodes. So yeah, so Chris said, but he goes, you can't do it like, he goes, I know you're going to want to do it like Angus or some of your other characters. You have to do a specific voice for me. So I want you to watch all these YouTube videos. And I think it was Dusty Rhodes, I think. And so the way it came out was this voice. You, my little angel, you are just the star that we are looking for. We want you to be inside this particular evil. You are the one that we want. I like that. And Chris goes, that's it. That's him. And I go, cool. So I did that. And that was at a warehouse over in St. Pete. Lisa Marie Cart and they're all the stars. Lisa Marie Cart, Kate Phoenix, all them people. They're all the stars of the movie. Bob Glazer, all them. They're all the stars. I was just doing like a little cameo thing, but it was fun. He goes, you're going to come out in a suit and tie and do all the dialogue, but in the end, the girl's going to shoot you and you die. And I go, okay, we'll try it. After I die, maybe I'll come back for the sequel because I'll work on it. So, but that was cool. But very, very staying to the script. Chris was like, no, I don't want you going, no improving. I told you when I did that movie for John Lewis after Dark Dimensions.
Yeah.
I did the scene very low key. And at the end, he goes, what was that? And I go, well, my wife says I shouldn't tell people how I should act and I shouldn't just act like I want to. He goes, no. He goes, that was horrible. You got to Wynkoop it up. And I go, oh, you want me to do it my way? And he goes, yes. He goes, that was terrible. What was that? Mm-hmm. So I did it the way I wanted, the same lines, but the way I wanted to do it. I kicked open the door. I'm going to Vegas, baby. And he was like, yes, that's what I want. And I go, and that I told you that caught on. Other movie makers were saying, can you give me a little more? And then the actor would go like, Wynkoop it up. Yeah, do it like Joel Wynkoop would do it. And that's to get wild and crazy. So yeah. But Chaos AD, Chris said, he goes, no, he goes, you can't do any of that. I need you to do it like Dusty Rhodes or whoever it was. And I did the voice. He goes, no, he goes, that is perfect. And I remember the day I was trying to still get the lines down at the warehouse. And Bob saw me, and Bob Glazer came up to me, and he wanted to, conversate and stuff. And I'm like, I got to work on these lines. I got to get these lines done. I want to be impressive to Chris. And he goes, I'll go away. I don't want to bother you. I go, no, Bob, don't think that, buddy. I said, this is a lot of dialogue, and I want to do it the way Chris wants me to do it. And so I did it. Chris liked it. He said, you did the voice spot on. That's what I wanted. And I think he was very happy with it. And I enjoyed doing it and, had fun, being in Chaos AD, even if it was like a cameo thing. It's like my character was there all the time, but this is the only time he comes out into the limelight, because he's the one running the show. And then he comes out, does his whole big spiel, and then he's killed for it at the end. Or the bad guys, the heroes of the show that are putting on the show by fighting each other, she shoots me. So, okay. Yeah, but I was a bad guy. I was doing a bad thing. I was torturing people and putting it on television, like cable TV. Hey, give me $100. You can watch these two chicks beat the shit out of each other. That's
Let's talk about your roles in Dreaming Purple Neon and Clownado.
Dreaming Purple Neon, that was funny. You know what? I haven't even watched that yet, so I don't know. I'm just going by what people have told me. At the end of the movie, I think it's either in the credit roll or at the end. But the way that came up was funny. Todd Sheets was a guest, of course, Clownado. But way before Clownado, he was at Tampa Bay Screams, and I was at Tampa. So Todd's a guest at his table. I'm a guest at my table. And Todd goes, Joel, man, I'd really like to get you one of my. Although we sponsored Todd, first of all, to come down here at the Tampa Theater to begin with. That's how I met Todd.
Okay.
We had one of his movies, House of Forbidden, was playing. And he came down, and that's how I met Todd, because we went out to breakfast later and everything. So now we're at Tampa Bay Screams, and I might be wrong. I might have seen him in between there. I can't remember. But we're at Tampa Bay Screams, and he comes by my table, and he goes, Joel, I've always wanted to put you in a movie, so I want to put you in a movie. And I go, man, Todd, I'd love it. That'd be cool. Thank you. I said, because when Tim and I were doing stuff way back at, like, after Truth and Dare Killing Spree, then we saw Todd doing stuff, and we're like, wow, this guy's doing movies too, this Todd Sheets guy. And so I said, yeah, that'd be cool. So later on in the day, he comes by the table again. He goes, you ready to shoot it? And he's got his phone. And I go, you want to shoot it now? He goes, yeah, let's go find a place to shoot it. And it was over in Brandon, the hotel. So we found an area at the back of the hotel. And it's funny, like sometimes I tell Kathy this, I go, God, I don't think of these things quick enough. Because I thought of it the way I should have done it. And when I told Todd like a year later, he goes, oh, that would have been great. So, but I didn't think of it then. So Todd just goes, you're just going to be like this guy coming out of his hotel room. And I want you, screaming and bitching and yelling. And then when you turn around, what you're looking at is all these demons and monsters coming out of the ground, and there's flying creatures. And you're looking at it like, oh my God, like it's the end of the world. And he goes, say a whole bunch of stuff, and then you run off. And there's something specific in there. So we shot it. But then later, like I said, I think it was a year later, maybe when I was up there for Clownado in Missouri, I told him, I go, Todd, I said, I should have done it as myself. And I could have just blew it all out of proportion. Like, I think I should be treated like a big star. And I should come out of the hotel room, closing the door. Screw people. I did all these movies, and I should be on top of the world. And yet I'm not. I have to keep doing these crappy. And I said I would do a whole thing, and then I would see the monsters and go, oh my God, and make a big thing, and then scream like a little girl and run off. And he was like, oh, that'd have been great. And I go, didn't think of it then. But that was just like, I think it's in the end credits of that movie. Dream. Okay. But it's fun, to work with Todd in any capacity. It didn't matter if it was a big red camera or 35 or just the little screen on his phone. I mean, this video stuff, especially now they get that commercial running on TV where the guy's looking through the high hole, and they crash out and they fight in the hallway, and then he backs up. It's a little phone with the handle. It's basically, made for shooting movies and shit. Yeah. And but yeah, that's the first time. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I did something for Todd. So that was fun. Okay.
And Clownado?
I think Todd told me he wanted me to be the truck driver, but I think that was for Bone Hill Road. I think he wanted me to be the truck driver, and for some reason, it didn't happen. Either I don't know if he couldn't get me out there then, didn't have the funds, or just decided to use somebody else. But I didn't get him Bone Hill Road, and I think there's a truck driver in there. And because I remember he goes, I want you to play this truck driver. And I go, I can do that. I drive truck for 40 years. And so then he wrote me one day on Facebook. He goes, I got this character I want you to play. And it's in my movie Clownado. And I go, cool. He goes, you're the hero. You're the one that's going to stop and save everybody. And I was all about that. I said, oh, cool. You're going to be the airplane pilot that goes up in the air with the group that comes to get you, and you're going to drop the bomb down and then you blow the whole tornadoes up and kill all the monsters and save the world. And I go, oh, that'd be great. The fun thing about that, I told you, Todd flew me out there, paid me, put me up in a hotel, bought me groceries, gave me that vest, just took super good care of me while I was there. And all his people are freaking awesome. And the way Todd does it too, he does a whole spiritual thing at the beginning of his shoot, which kind of punched me in the nose at first. I go, I've never been on a set like this, but this is kind of cool because he'll play music and he gets everybody in a meditative mood. And he goes, everybody calm down. We're all at peace. We're all here to make a movie. We're all friends. No outside influences will be here for you. And I thought it was kind of weird, like a cult thing. But then I was like, no, this is probably Todd's gimmick. This is his thing. He does with his actors. When I shoot a movie, I have a prayer. I say, Lord, please bless the set. Please don't, just like Burt Reynolds. When they're on Sharky's machine. When that guy went out the window, Burt said with him, they said a prayer because they said, Lord, please don't let the bungee cable snap. Don't let him hit the ground. Make sure this gig goes right and everything. So everybody's got their thing. And Todd's was cool because he puts everybody in this place where, the negativity's gone. So you can just work on this movie. And it's a good idea. So the first part was me looking out the door of the at an actual airport. I mean, all these planes are on it. It's pretty cool. So you get to look at all these planes. And I open up the big garage doors and I go, what the hell are you doing here? And he goes, hey, I forget my name. I think I'm Hurricane something or other. And they come in. And as I'm walking them, or I'm bitching about something, which Todd just let me run with it. Because when I got off the airplane, Todd meets me at the gate. And I get my suitcase and stuff, and my belongings from the conveyor belt. And I go, Todd, I got the script down on the plane. I hadn't got a chance to look at it because I've been busy doing stuff. So on the flight, I read Clownado. I read the whole thing, and I learned all my lines. I put them to index cards, which is something I learned from Joe Davis. And Joe would always show up with his index cards, and all his dialogue would be on it. So if he got stumped, he whipped it out. Instead of pulling a big script out, you whip out these index cards. Okay, got it. Put it away. It's funny in all my movies. If you'll see the index cards sticking out of the top of my shirt. A lot of movies. If you look, see my character right there. There's a pocket. You'll see the top of an index card. Those are my index cards with all my lines. You'll see Slasher, a lot of my movies. So I had Clownado. I had it down really good. In fact, I went to Todd. We're still at the airport, and I go, Todd, I hope you don't mind this, but I kind of rewrote a whole bunch of stuff for me. He goes, no, Joel. He goes, that's why I'm paying you. That's why I cast you. That's what I wanted you to do. I want you to bring Joel Wynkoop to the set. I want you to do this. So I made up. It didn't make it in the movie, and I understand why. It's in the outtakes. I have a whole outtake reel just of me. And when we were doing it, I had this whole side story about me and the other guy and Hunter, and I told him what to do and the girl, and but it didn't make the movie. But that's not the point. Todd let me do it. Todd didn't say, cut, Joel, we're not doing your stupid lines. Todd kept rolling that camera. And that was for me, personal. And that meant a lot to me that Todd did that. And you'll see that on the outtakes. It's funny. It's a little side story of Hurricane and Hunter, how they're best friends and how they got together in a bar fight. And I made all that shit up on the plane. Todd loved it. It just didn't fit there. It wasn't It wasn't like the Indianapolis story on Jaws. I couldn't do something. So I did that, and then I think then we got to the airport, and I was supposed to actually be in the plane flying it, but the pilot came to me, and he goes, I know you think you're going to fly that plane, and Todd wanted you to fly that plane. Or I think he was going to, at first he said, you're going to fly the plane. He goes, but I'll be next to you. All you got to do is keep the controls straight, hold on to the wheel. He goes, I'll do everything else from the side, but you're actually going to be holding the wheel. And actually, if I say bank, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So I'm kind of nervous. So we get there to shoot it, and Todd goes out, and I was kind of back by the hangar, but Todd's out with the pilot, and they got a big whole thing going on. And Todd and the pilot come back, and Todd goes, Joel, I know you thought you're going to fly the plane. And then he points to the pilot, and he goes, I can't have you fly that plane. He goes, I'll lose my pilot license. He goes, I know you're going to be there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to wear your vest, and the shots that are shot from the other plane that Todd was in, Todd would fly by and shoot out the window. And the guy flying it is the actual pilot with my vest on, but they initially when I went out there, I was going to be flying that airplane, which I don't know what about. Totally trusting the pilot. If you say I can pilot it, I'll pilot it. But he goes, yeah, I'll lose my pilot license if I let another person that doesn't have a pilot license, even though I'm there in that seat. He goes, I can't do that. And that's when they decided they would just put on my vest and they would do that. But fun time on Clownado, because that, I was treated really good. Todd was friggin' awesome to me. And Todd's second in command. She's really good. I remember she said, can you make a little video for Todd? And I go, yeah. I go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just want to get in this elevator with Todd, close the doors. I'm going to open the doors, have that camera running. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But and that's still to date is one of my favorite videos, is me coming out of that elevator and looking at that camera and going, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm here to tell you about Todd Sheets' new movie. And Todd starts to say something. I go, shut the fuck up, man. I'll tell the story. And that was all just off the top of my head. And then Todd at one point started going, whoa, whoa, wah, whoa, yeah, like that. Everything. It's Clownado. It's cool. You're going to have a lot of fun of it. And Todd would start to say something again. I go, shut the fuck up, man. This is my commercial. And it's just really fun. And to this date, every time it comes up in my memories, I'll put it up and I go, this was a blast to do. But yeah, Todd was awesome to work for. It was very cool, to fly me out there and just take such good care of me. And again, to all his team he works with, all his lighting, all his actors, those people were just awesome. Very well taken care of by Todd. And these people were just everybody was so cool to work for. So thumbs up for Todd Sheets, because I had an awesome time and he treated me really, really good.
Okay. How about One Night of Fear, where you played a grandpa?
One Night of Fear, same thing. Facebook. I forget his name. And the funny thing about that is I met him in 2005 at Spooky Empire, and my table was next to his, and he thought it was the most exciting thing to meet me. And he's like, oh, I can't believe I'm sitting next to Joel Wynkoop. And I go, and I introduced myself and we talk a little bit. And he goes, well, I do these little movies. I'm trying to do movies too. And he had one with Melanie Roble and I think a couple other, or that might have been the only one then, because he was just getting into it, him and his wife. And I go, oh, cool. This is exciting meeting you, and you're doing it. And he's being, he's, oh, I can't believe I'm sitting next to you. And then he started to become a movie maker. So now he's making movies. So this is years later, from 2005 to whatever the date is. And he contacts me on Facebook and says, hey, Joel, I want you to play the grandpa in this movie. There's a girl going to be tortured, and you're going to be out there, and you're going to be, I think, yeah, it was a girl, and you're going to be screaming at her. And I think the son is out there, and you scream at him. And it's going to be for a flashback of a little boy watching the grandpa. Because I remember the little kid came, and I go, you don't want me to say all that stuff in front of that kid? Oh, God, no. He goes, we'll shoot the kid separate. And I go, yeah, thank God, because I don't want to be screaming on and fuck this and fuck that. And this little 6-year-old's there. So, yeah, I was just real psycho. And he had to bring me down. He goes, Joel, you can't scream that loud. He goes, you're going to get the cops here. He goes, I mean, we got permission, but your voice is traveling. He goes, you got to bring it way down. And so, I brought it down as much as you can for a yelling scene. Because I'm like, you little whore, I put up with you. Like that. He's like, Joel, please, you're going to get me arrested. Calm down. And so I brought it down. We did the scene. I had 2 different girls that I yell at there. And then, of course, the little boys put in, and I think I'm supposed to be talking to my son, I think. And I'm not the killer in it, but I think the son is the killer that I turned him into or something like that. I only got to see it once. I think it was streaming or something. I don't think it ever came out on DVD. But fun time.
I see you were part of Zombarella's House of Horrors.
Was that Tony Maselli?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, I became friends with him on Facebook years ago. He was doing a thing called Shot on Video, The True Independence. Mm-hmm. And he asked me for some footage. And I shot it on my old Sony DV, which I used that thing until it just died. And I shot all scenes around here in the house. It was 6 hours of footage. And sadly, this stuff kind of happens with movie makers. That's still not out. I did that years ago. And occasionally I write him and I go, Tony, did you ever do anything with all those interviews I did for you? No, I haven't yet, man, but I'm going to get to them. It's just, he goes, you sent me 6 hours. And I go, well, I wanted you to have everything. And because he releases little tidbits now and then. And so, yeah, I'll probably go back to him, sometime this week. I finally got done with Howl Scream. So now I got a little bit of time to myself before I start Christmas Town. So, yeah, so maybe I'll go back to Tony and go, hey, is that ever going to come out? Or he's got it. He's got the footage. But sometimes you do so much. And Tony's got his own distributing thing. So I know he does a lot of work, to keep busy and keep putting movies out. But I would like to see that because I did that, God, I don't know, 2006, 2008 maybe. And but yeah, so that's how I knew Tony from doing that. And then this Zombarella thing came up, and I asked him. I'm trying to remember what did I do in that? What does it say?
It says you did Creep 2, the beginning segment, and Crocogator segment.
Oh, okay. That was just footage Tim put together from footage that me and him shot way back in the 90s. Was in the Zombarella thing. I don't think I did anything physically like here's something I shot, put it in the movie. I think it was just those scenes that Tim put together. I think, but I'm not positive.
Okay. And then how was working on Death Cure?
Death Cure, I don't think that's been done yet. That's also by he did Postmortem America 2021. Now all of a sudden his name slipped my mind.
Yeah, but he worked on two other with two other guys, Daniel Murphy and Tom Commissar on that. So
and Jim O'Rear and Scott Tepperman are also Death Care. I don't know if they did the movie and just didn't tell me because I was supposed to be a doctor in that or a janitor, I think. And they were going to fly me out for that. So I don't know if that movie happened and came out or they still haven't got around to doing it because I never heard anything, from the time he said that, Joel, you're going to play the janitor in this. And then, so I don't know if they ever shot it or it's still in the works to be shot. So I don't know. That's Cameron Scott movie.
Okay. How about a film called The Connection?
The Connection, I just ordered a bunch from the distributor. A bunch. I ordered like 50, I think. That was for Nick Naylor and Rod Grant. And that's another neat thing. Nick has been a friend of mine for years. So is Rod Grant, all the way back to like 2004. I met Rod Grant. And Nick, I think I met 2006, 2008. And every time I would see Nick, I even came to the audition for one of their movies. I can't remember the name of it now, but I came in and I waited out with all these other actors. And some guy came out to me and he goes, "What's your name?" And I go, "It's Joel Wynkoop." And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "I just have to come out and get all the actors' names and then tell them." Said he went into Nick and I could hear Nick from out, Nick's, the door is here and I'm out here. It's at the library over in St. Pete, Clearwater. And so I'm outside sitting in the chairs with all the other actors. And the guy goes, and you can hear it through the walls. I hear the guy go, "Well, Joel Wynkoop's out there." And Nick goes, "What the fuck? You don't make Joel Wynkoop sign them. Go out there and get him." And he comes out and he goes, "Mr. Wynkoop, he's really mad. You need to go in there right now." And I come in and he goes, "Fucking Joel Wynkoop." He goes, What are you doing here? You don't audition. You just get roles. And I go, No, I don't, Nick. I go, "I got to audition just like all the other actors." I said, "So I'd like to." He goes, "I can't have you audition for me. You're Joel fucking Wynkoop. I can't have you audition for me." And I go, "No, he goes, "You can't audition." And I go, "Well, I'm here. I know the law. I'd like to audition if I can." And Rod's like, "Let him read." And he's like, "Joel fucking Wynkoop doesn't have to audition. He just gets roles. He doesn't have to audition." And I go, "Nick, believe me, I do got to audition." So I auditioned for the role of the captain. They loved it. But they loved another guy better because he got the role. I didn't get in that movie. But Nick had always been, every time I run into Nick, he goes, "Fucking Joel Wynkoop, man." He goes, "One of these days, you're going to be in one of my movies. We're working together. You're going to be in a movie with me." I go, "Cool, man." Not thinking anything. We were at the premiere of Crazed, which was called Fury, the Tales of Ronan Pierce at the time.
Okay.
It was playing over in at Channel Side here in Tampa at the theater, and one of their movies was playing there too. It was Gasparilla Film Festival, and I met them, and I remember Rod going, "Joel, how many movies have you done?" And I go, "I don't know, over 100." And he goes, "God dang!" He goes, "I've done like 30." Rod saying, "Oh, I've done like 40, and I think that's a lot, and you've done over 100." And then Nick said it again. He goes, "Man, Joel, one of these days I'm going to get you in a movie." And I go, "Well, not this one." And he goes, "No, I didn't get you in this one." And then because I told him, I said, "Well, Fury's playing over there, and you got your movie playing here." So that was just kind of cool being there. One day I get a phone call, and I answer it, and I go, "Look," and Joel, it's Nick Naylor. And I go, "Hey, Nick, what's going on?" He goes, "Me and Rod want you to play the sheriff in this movie I'm doing called The Powers." And which turned into The Connection because he didn't like the powers. He goes, "It's the closest thing I can get to a superhero movie without putting costumes on everybody." And I go, "Okay, cool." He goes, "You'll be the sheriff that is bringing these kids in." He goes, you and Rod are the leads of the movie." Or Nick was the lead. And then the girl playing his girlfriend. But he goes, "As far as, the sheriff, you're playing the sheriff. Rod's playing your deputy." And I read it over. I thought it was pretty cool. And that's another. And then I told Rod what I wanted. He actually wrote up a contract, because some of these things I won't do a contract, and then you sweat it out because, like on Craig, the guy kept coming to me saying, "Well, my dad's gonna pay you," and then he would come later and he goes, "My mom's gonna pay you," and he goes, "Oh, my brother's gonna pay you," and I go, "Oh, I'm gonna get screwed. I'm not gonna get paid money. I hope they fly me home." And then I even asked him about it. He goes, "What do you think? I'm a shyster?" And I go, "No, man, it's just, you said your dad's going to pay me, then your mom was going to pay me, then you were going to pay me, then your brother's going to pay me, and I ain't got paid yet." And that's a lot of money. It's like $1,500. And so finally I got paid, got my flight home, and I felt bad because I said that, but there's no contract for the money wise because I just did it, except for the release of playing the actor. Well, Rod, I don't think Rod so much. I think more Nick was so meticulous with his contract. And I don't want to go through a big contract. Andrew Allen did that with me for Lost Faith to Cult Movie Mania. I go, "Andrew, I'm not going to get a lawyer to read this, but this is a 65-page contract, man. I'm not going to go through all that. Can you go back to your lawyer and have him cut it down to like 10 pages?" So he did. So it came out to be an 8-page contract. And I went through it with Andrew, everything, on there, trusting Andrew, who's awesome. And, signed it. Signed the rights for Lost Faith for 7 years or 10 or whatever it was to Cult Movie Mania. And then Andrew later came to me when they closed Cult. They go, "We're giving you back the rights to Lost Faith and The Bite because Cult Movie Mania is no more." So with Nick Naylor, it was a lot of stuff with, the contracts. You got to do this. And I really went through that contract because I said, I don't want to do anything that's going to be like, "No, you said in the contract, you take your clothes off and wag around or something." I'm like, I'm not doing that. So read through the whole thing, got the money part out of the way. It was 50% up front, 50% when the movie's over. And then I kept, you worry about stuff like that. You say, "Sure you're going to pay me at the end?" "Yeah, it's in contract." And I go, "Okay, because I'm going to hold you to this contract." And did the movie. I shot 4 days on The Connection. And I think it was Saturday and Sunday. It's funny because I remember kidding with them because I had my van and they're like, "Well, we got to go look at some spots around where we are out in Lakeland." And everybody was like, "Let's just get in Joel's van." And I ended up driving them all around. I go, I want transportation service for that. And I want some money for gas. And I got neither one. I was halfway being funny saying it. But on the other hand, I was like, well, it'd be nice to get recouped for the extra money I'm spending here, gas and driving everybody around. But they were great. Rod and I would go off sometimes, go to Starbucks and bring back a bunch of stuff for everybody. And I'd ride along because it was fun. Rod was like, "Joel, you want to go for a ride?" "Yeah, man, it'll be cool." But Nick, Rod, everybody on their team treated me really good. I treated everybody good. I think I gave copies, VHS copies of Lost Faith or DVD copies to pretty much all the cast. We came in one day, we had that big shoot for the big police scene for the end. And I came in with a bunch of Lost Faith, like 20, 30 copies, and gave everybody a copy of Lost Faith, because I like to do that. And that was a fun shoot. It was and Nick would let me go a lot, because I would tell him, like, Nick, I could, I supposedly I just shoot this cute little girl. I said, I can go into a really emotional thing if you want me to. And he goes, yeah, do that. And again, bringing what I learned from doing movies with Tim Ritter way back in the day. I remember this stuff. And so, I did that, and I shot the girl because she's going to shoot me. So I shoot her, and then I go over to her and I bend down, and I'm not like bawling, but I'm like kind of crying, like, oh my God, I killed her, and I radio it in. And so that was fun to do the emotions, and Nick really liked that. And then also going on to there's the humor between Rod Grant and I. There's a scene at one point, Rod, we just kind of wrote it, and we ran it by Nick, and Nick goes, do it. You guys do it. You know what you're doing. You're actors. Do it. And Nick would do the same thing with Rod. He goes, you're Rod fucking Grant. Do it. So it was one point I say something like, I can't believe this is going on. People are just getting up and walking around like they're the living dead. And then Rod goes, a zombie apocalypse movie. Zombies take the world. And I turn around and go, what the fuck are you talking about? Shut your fucking mouth. Ain't no zombies in this town. And he liked it. So we kind of made a thing with me and Rod through the whole movie. There's one scene where I'm with the bad guy and Rod shoots him. And I go, well, good fucking job. What'd you shoot him for? And he goes, he was going to kill you. And I go, but now I can't question him, dumbass. And so that doing that with Rod and with Nick and the whole cast, again, Nick Naylor's awesome. Fun guy to work for. He went and let me do a lot of stuff. I go, how about I do a scene where I just jump up and start kicking the shit out of everybody? Like Lone McQuaid. I can do the sheriff like Lone. He goes, no, Joel, no martial arts. Sorry, got to shut you down. He goes, you're great. You're great, but no martial arts. I get to punch them? No punching. But I tell you, that end scene in the office, I went over those lines and over and over and over, because Tim Ritter one time, he called me when we shot Screaming for Sanity, and I picked up the phone. I go, oh, and he goes, you. And I go, hey. He goes, learn your lines. And I go, oh, what do you mean? He goes, or I go, I'm sorry, man. He goes, no, I'm sorry to yell at you, but you got to learn your lines, because I can't edit you. You're too hard to edit. You keep changing the dialogue. And so I told him, so I always remember that. I go back to that, remember the lines. So, so I worked really hard on that to get the lines down. And then I told Nick, I go, look, Nick, if I start raising my voice, that's not me. That's Sheriff Puller. That's the character I'm playing, because I'm starting to turn into him now. So if we're doing something, it's not Joel Wynkoop anymore. It's Sheriff Puller. So I think we did that scene. I think he's at the desk, and I think I came around the corner, because we have a big dialogue scene there. And that's where my character as Puller starts yelling at me. I can't remember what I said, but I was like, this is what I find out we're going to do. This is how we're doing it. And he's yelling back at me, and we get into a big confrontation. And then the camera guys, you two guys are awesome. You're really going at it. So it shows in the movie. There's some parts in there where I go, it seems to kind of drag, but it's more of a drama than it is a sci-fi or a fantasy. So dramas kind of tend to have that. But I really like the stuff me and Nick did, and me and Rod did, and the lead girl's really good in it. And Nick, not only is he directing, but he's acting. He really did good in it. So, it's a pretty fun movie. Very, very worth checking out. Again, you want to get a copy of The Connection, get in touch with me. Let me know. Okay. Rod and Nick have it too. But people can get in touch with me on Facebook. I have all my movies. A lot of people go, yeah, I just got your movie from here or there or there. And I'm like, I got my movies too. If you want to get them from me, that's fine too. And the distributors know that. Ron knows that. He knows I'm not buying 50 copies of Creep, so I can glue them to my wall. I'm buying them so I can sell them. He understands. Some distributors are like, well, you bought them from me, but I don't want you to release it for 4 months. And I'm like, Why do you think I bought 30 copies? To put on my wall as wallpaper and look at oh, I'm buying them to sell them to people that want my movies. And they get them from me. They always get them. I'll sign them if they want. And I put in a lot of stuff, little extra stuff to make it worth their while. And I package them super awesome. So but yeah, to the connection, very fun with that. And to work with Nick Naylor and Rod Grant. Rod Grant, my fifth or sixth time working with Rod, 7 or 8, and my first time actually working with Nick Naylor. So good time on that. Good time on the connection. A lot of fun.
I'm just going to ask you about 4 more projects because I know you've got a lot of future ones, and we can always come back on and talk about these like sometime in the future. Well, some more in the future on some other stuff that you're always constantly in. So.
Not lately. I don't feel like it lately. My phone's not been ringing lately.
But 1 by 1 and Table of Death.
1 by 1 was for, again, Kelly Helen Thompson. I'm only in it at the end. I'm a news reporter. I think Kelly just kind of did it to be nice. Basically, Kathy's in that movie more than I am. She's one of the main characters. But I'm just the reporter at the end because I just need a reporter talking about the house burning down at the end of the movie. Can you do that for me? And I go, yeah. And so it's just kind of a little cameo, but nice of Kelly to ask me, to be in it. So, and it's funny. She didn't want me and Kathy to be in it as husband and wife. She wanted Kathy and Shelby, my agent at the time, to be in the movie to play husband and wife. So, I was kind of different. I said, well, I wonder why she didn't want me as Kathy's husband because I'm Kathy's husband. But that's your producer's call. So, but like I said, it was nice of Kelly to say, hey, Joel, I want you to do this. So I'm just a news reporter at the end of the movie, a little cameo.
Okay. And then Table of Death?
Oh, Table of Death. Glenn, I can't remember his last name, but Glenn Register. Okay. He got a hold of me. Another one got a hold of me on Facebook. I love your work. I saw your IMDb. I've seen some of your movies. I came to the Tampa Picture Show when you were there, and I would love to have you in this movie. And it was called something else first, and then they changed it to Table of Death. But they go, you're a poker player. And I told him right away, I go, Glenn, I don't know nothing about poker. And he goes, nope, Rick Danford's going to be with you. And Rick Danford plays poker professional. He goes and plays with guys, to win money from playing poker. I don't know nothing about poker. So basically Rick took me through it because I would do things like I'd go bet 2 and Rick goes, no, Joel, you don't bet 2. And I go, well, maybe in my character, he goes, nobody bets 2 there. And I go, oh, okay, I'll take that back. And so we had the script and everything. I had to go by the script, but you had to do the motions. So every time I do something, I push something and Rick would go, Joel, no, you don't do that. Pull that back. Don't do that. Do what I tell you to do. And I go, okay, I'm just trying to make something out of it. And my character had gotten so far with his money that it was like something like he was playing against the devil or demons. And at the end, when I'm really sweating it up because the other guy won, and I'm like, no, give me another chance. And there's these 2 big bouncer dudes, and they're big dudes. They grab me and hold me. And then at one point, you see them, the back of the door lights up, and they let go of me. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I get up, and then I guess I fall, and these 2 big monster hands come out, and they grab me, and they drag me out into the next room with all these, after editing, you get all this, like, flames coming out, like, I'm pulled into hell. And it's pretty cool little short. And I remember Glenn telling me he's going to make that into a movie, but I don't know if he pursued that. Like I said, a lot of movie makers do. They'll go on and do something else. But at least these ones I'm doing it are guys that say they want to do something and they do it. So I knew a guy for years over in Fort Pierce saying, when I was doing Lost Faith, he was like, oh, my movie's going to need $1 billion and I need this. And I'm thinking, and I think I said that, I said, I'll do 100 movies and you'll still be working on your one thing there because you want $1 million. I don't know what money I've got, but I'll make a movie. It doesn't matter to me. I'll make it. And Roger Corman was the same way. He didn't have a lot of money when he started out. So you just say, hey, see a time to make the movie. Make the movie. Quentin Tarantino too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was fun too. Glenn was really cool. His wife is awesome. His son is awesome. His son's wife, all the people on his set were really cool. Treated me good. Treated Kathy really good because Kathy did some of the lighting, and I think she worked the monster hands, and she did some other stuff with Glenn's wife. And but Glenn, very cool guy. His son, awesome, and yeah, a lot of fun to work on that. And of course, with Rick Danford, getting to work with Rick. Rick's been a friend of mine since I came over here. I think maybe 2004, 2003, and we've worked on a bunch of stuff together. And he's worked for me on movies, and I worked for him on his shorts and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah, awesome time on Table of Death.
Very cool. How did you get involved with Jekyll versus Hyde?
That was Dustin Hubbard and Seb Godin. I did like animator for them. And I'd been working for Dustin like back since, I don't know, 2006. He had Jason LaCorey, who's been a friend of mine for years. I met him in 2004 at Rick Danford's Halloween Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
We were both down and we drove down to Sarasota together, and I played a teacher, and I think Jason
Richard
played
Poole.
a teacher. What's that?
You played Richard Poole.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I think that scene was like we did at a schoolyard, which I thought was cool. They got permission to come on the school with actual students there. We shot then.
Okay.
And me and Jason shot a scene together. And what was that called?
Jekyll versus Hyde.
Oh, yeah. But that's the first time I met Dustin in that movie. I think that was For Christ's Sake. But then Dustin and I, after that, became really good friends. And then I worked on a bunch of his stuff, and then I put him in my stuff. And so Jekyll versus Hyde came up after Like Animator, which I think we covered that, okay. Where I fight the werewolf. And then Jekyll versus Hyde came up. And what that was kind of neat. Another one of those kind of things where they had an actor playing it and he dropped out for some reason. He was sick or couldn't make it. And my phone rang and it was Dustin. And Dustin said, "Hey, Joel, it's Dustin." And I go, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, man, we're making that movie Jekyll versus Hyde." And I go, "Yeah." I go, "You couldn't use me in it, huh?" Because, we're friends. And I'm like, could you have used me in that? He's like, "No." He goes, "But we can now." Because the guy is, I go, "Dustin, I don't know anything about the script. I haven't had a script. I don't know nothing about it." He goes, "Doesn't matter. Can you be down here in 2 hours?" He goes, "I know you can do this." And I go, "Yep, I'm on my way." And I think Kathy went with me. I can't remember. But I shot down to Sarasota, got there. He showed me the script. Basically, I like to think I'm a lot better on the script now, getting the lines down, than I was way back with Tim. I remember shooting with Tim Ritter on I Dared You, Truth or Dare 5. And I was doing the lines, and I wasn't having any problems. I got the lines exactly how they're supposed to be. And I could see Tim smiling as he's shooting with the camera. This little smile on Tim is like, and I told him later, I go, "You liked it, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, you've come a long way from way back when you and I worked together, way back." I said, "Yeah, I'm glad to see you, smile." Because I do that too. If someone's acting, because some people think, "Why is Joel laughing at me?" And Kathy goes, "He's not laughing at you. He really loves you. If he's laughing or smiling, that means he really loves your performance. So whatever you do, don't stop acting. Keep going." So I get over there, Dustin, and it's very wordy. This character is like the caretaker for this other guy who becomes the monster. And it's very wordy. It's a lot of like, "Well, now sit down and we're going to get you breakfast and everything will be fine, because then I'm going to have a limo come here, pick you up, but not only you, but me as well. And we will travel together to the museum where we will see this fine production. How does that sound?" So I kind of did it like that, I think. And it hasn't come out yet. That's weird. I got to ask Dustin about that. I think that was supposed to come out with I can't remember, some distributor. I can't remember. All their other stuff came out with them. Anyway, yeah, so I did that. At the end, the police come and I kind of shifted gears with like, "You can't take him, you got to deal with me," or something. And I forget what happens. I think I live in that. I might have got killed. I don't know. But that's another one that was I just got the role because the guy didn't show up. Dustin called me because you want it. And I go, yeah. He goes, can you be here? We can give you X amount of dollars. I go, I'm on my way. And drove down there and got to do it. I think I did it in a suit and tie, or maybe just a white button up and black pants. And but yeah, it was a lot sitting at the breakfast table talking, up in the bedroom talking, down in the living room talking, because they rented a house and everything was kind of shot in the house. The monster stuff was shot outside at night. I didn't have nothing to do with that. But yeah, great time. It was always fun to work with Dustin. Oh, I do remember, because I was kind of annoyed at one point. They just weren't doing anything. And I go, why am I here for not doing anything? And I remember falling asleep and waking up on the couch, and they were going upstairs and going to bed for the night. And I'm like, are we going to shoot this movie or what? Then at one point I told them, I go, look, Kathy was with me. I go, we're leaving. We're going to go find something to eat. Well, we're going to be shooting soon. I go, I've been sitting here for 3 hours. We haven't done a damn thing. You know, I'm kind of getting pissed now. And so Kathy and I left. And as soon as we left, we get to the restaurant and they're calling us and they're going, oh, we're ready for you now. And I go, now you're ready? Why weren't you ready 3 hours ago? I go, well, we're going to have our dinner. Kathy and I are going to eat, and then we'll come back when we get back. Be ready for me when I come back, because I waited 3-4 hours for you guys. Now you guys be ready for me. So I came back. Well, now we're stressed for time. We're rushing. I go, 3 hours ago, you weren't rushing. Seb was up sleeping in bed, I think, and you were down here, and Kai was doing something. Nobody's shooting anything. So that's the only time, though. Everything else I've worked on with them, like Animator and Ouija Mummy, spot on for everything. So one time I had to wait, and I was kind of annoyed. But still, went really good. You know, like I said, called me at the last second. That's why actors go, well, if you would have gave me time to get ready, that's a bunch of bullshit. If you need somebody and you call them, yeah, you can say that, well, if I had more time.
You don't make them wait.
Yeah, they don't have more time because they're shooting a movie and some actor says he can't make it. So yes, call me, because if I can make it, I'm going to be there. I'll never say to you, well, if you gave me more time. Well, how can they give me more fucking time if they didn't know the guy was going to quit on them and they'd had to look for another actor? The guy quit. They're stuck. They call me. Can you make it? Yes, I'll be right there. So I'm never about, well, if you gave me, you know, some more time, because if you're not doing anything and you want to do it, get up and do it, you know. Otherwise you can just say, nah, man, I can't do it. If you would have gave me more time, that doesn't even need to be brought up in the conversation. They fucking know that. Tell them, yes, I'll be right there, or no, I can't do it, man. I'm at Disney World or something, you know. Right. So good time doing that movie too. I'd like to see it come out. I think it'd be fun.
And I think I'll end on talking with you about Dawn of the Dead, a TV, or Dawn and the Dead, a TV series that evidently you're filming.
Some of these things I don't like.
As Stephen Doc Treadstone.
Yeah, Dr. Treadstone. All I shot for that was my pictorial thing, what I look like with the suit. Went to the rehearsals, but they only shot one episode of that, I think. So sometimes I get perturbed with them because the producers, which is Rick Danford, a friend of mine, they'll put something on IMDb, and then I've got it on my IMDb, and somebody like you might say, hey, tell me about Dawn and the Dead. And then I got to tell you, well, it's not done. It's in process. I don't know. I don't know if he's still shooting it. Now I should ask him, hey, Rick, are you still doing that Dawn of the Dead thing? Is that still going? Because some people start it. They might stretch it out over 15 years. I don't know. But I don't like having it on my IMDb. And then somebody asks me about it. And they go, hey, I heard you're in this movie called Dawn of the Dead. And I got to go, no. All I had was my picture taken. And I went over the script. And the movie's not out yet. And I haven't done anything. And then it makes me look like, oh, you're just putting shit on your IMDb. No, I'm not. Somebody else put shit on my IMDb. But if it's still going on, and I understand that, because then I think they were doing that with Austin Janowski, and then he got off in his comic book thing, and then Zombies Are People Too, and then they were doing that. And then, but they did shoot some stuff because William Graffet directed it when it was at Spooky Empire. So I don't know if it's one of those things where Rick's like, yeah, we're still doing it, but you know, we're not going to be doing anything for 7 years on it. And well, I mean, that's how some of these things go. My stuff, I get out right away.
just for kicks and giggles, I'll ask you about Slash Cam and Steal Your Face.
Slash Cam is another one. I don't know. Is that Richard on Slash Cam or Chris Woods? Because I get those two movies confused. I think it's Dustin. No, I think it's Marcus Kempton and Rick.
Marcus Campton, yeah.
Yeah, Slash Cam. Another one. And the guy's cool. He was in my Marcus I've worked a lot with on different movies and stuff. But God dang, I can't remember that guy's name. Rich, I think it's Richard. He a long time ago, Slash Cam, I saw him in Starbucks and he goes, "Oh, I got to pay you for Slash Cam." So he peeled out some money to me and paid me. He goes, "I want to make sure you get paid." I go, "Wait, you haven't done it yet. You can wait to pay me till after my." No, I want to pay you ahead of time. Okay. That was years ago for Slash Cam. Mm-hmm. So that's another one. I don't know what's going on with that. Yet it's put on my page. So somebody like you comes to me and says, "Hey, tell me about your movie Slash Cam." I haven't done a damn thing except collect my money for it. I mean, that's great. I got paid for it, but I haven't done anything yet. So that's another one where I look at the filmmaker and go, "Hey, dude, what's going on? Is this movie happening or not? I mean, don't just make up shit and throw it up on the IMDb and then forget about it. Are you doing it or are you not doing it?" But I also get some people start stuff happens, and then it don't get done. But tell me something, you know?
Alrighty. Well, I thank you for coming on with me again. It's definitely been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Where can we find some of your stuff and whatnot, and where can we find you?
I gotta show the shirt here too. Give the part to Wynkoop shirt. That's Dirty Cop No Donut. That is Cope Ransom. That right there is Steve Nakota. That is Dr. Robert Olson from Rot, and that's the Truth or Dare movies. Which, if anybody wants to get a Give the Part to Wynkoop t-shirt, I have those too. They're just $20. I pay all the shipping. People can reach me on Facebook. That's the best way to reach me. I looked at my website the other day just for whatever, and it's all messed up. And I don't know, my guy that was working on it, if he stopped in the middle of it and it blew apart and he's got to put it back together, or something else happened to it, because I'm paying for the site, but it ain't there. You can't buy anything off of it. But my biggest thing is just Facebook, and that's just my name, Joel D. Wynkoop. It's not under anything else or any. I do have Wynkoop Productions, but the most Facebook I check is my personal one, Joel D. Wynkoop, and that's got, I'm always on there talking about movies. Everybody knows they want to get one of my movies, they can get it there. Or if they want to get a T-shirt, they can get it there. It's just getting people to come and check you out and see it, because I get a lot of requests. So like somebody says, "Yeah, I'll send you a friend request," and now I say like, "Well, how did you hear of me?" Because I want to know, like we talked about the girls with the big boobs and well, prostitution service. So I want to know the people are like, "I don't know you, just I saw a D and I hit it," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But most of them are people that have seen my movies or some kind of work. So the best way, get in touch with me on Facebook. Say, "Hey, Joel, I want to buy some of your movies. What do you got?" Because I got everything. I got all my movies. So, if they want Truth or Dare, Killing Spree, Wicked Games, Screaming for Sanity, I got those movies. Get a hold of me. My distributor doesn't even have some of these movies because they're out of print, and there's there's no reprinting of them. So, but I still have some because I buy from my distributor. So I've got some movies yet. So yeah, somebody wants to get in touch with me, just look up my name right there on Facebook.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to go over with you and chat with you about your film adventures. So thank you so much.
Dave, thank you, man. We'll do it again. I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, and I hope people like it because they get to hear not only just, it's kind of behind the scenes. Nobody would know the stuff that happened on Clownado or even Twisted Illusions or Killing Spree and stuff like that. People will be like, "Wow, I didn't know all that went on." It's so hopefully, people enjoy it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you just go out and watch or pick up a film that has Joel in it, please do. So thank you so much, and enjoy your afternoon, and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Dave, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.